Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast. We are currently live. It is Wednesday, June 5th. We should be live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Let me check and see if we are live on Instagram and the audio and everything is good. Let me go ahead and check that real quick. Wait, are we? Let me see. Okay. Now we should be live on Instagram too. Hey, so welcome to No Fugazee Podcast. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram today, man. Today is debate night. We having some people join this live stream, and we doing some debates. Everybody on IG, what's good, man? We going live tonight, doing some debates. Facebook, tune in. I do have in the YouTube channel in the description, I have the link to join the virtual live stream. So if you go to YouTube, that's No Fugazee Podcast on YouTube, you will see the link to join this virtual live stream. If you are a supporter, feel free to click that link and ask me any questions. If you are a hater, please click that link and let's debate, man. Let's go. Other than that, without further ado, actually, let's check the audio before I get into the intro. Let's see if the audio is good on everything. Let's check YouTube first. Make sure the audio is good. 'Cause I'm always having some audio issues, man. My guy's not in today. My producer, Steve. Steve, you're not here today, man, so I'm doing it all by myself. Let's see. All right. Okay, audio is good on YouTube. Let's see if what about Instagram? Let me check IG real quick. First time going live on Instagram in an actual, professional way. So let's see if this is working right. Oh, I am live on IG. Let's hear it. Oh, IG, we lit. Okay, audio is good. All right, let's get it. I think I had some people join the live stream. All right, Galina, I see you. Can you turn your lights on and then I'll add you up? But before I go ahead and add you up, I'm going to go to the intro. So, just a quick introduction again. We live, No Fugazee Podcast, man. Let's get it. Could understand out the door. All right, let's get it. Okay, so without further ado, I do believe we have Galina. I see you in a second. Galina, I'm going to add you up in a moment. First, I'm going to go through just the descriptions, and then we're going to get everything popping. So everyone that's tuned in right now, once again, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. On YouTube, we have a few links in the description. If you do want to join this virtual live stream, you can. On Instagram, you can't go ahead and join. You got to go over to YouTube. That's No Fugazee Podcast on YouTube, or just type in David Cooley, my name, and you'll see this live stream. And it's the first link in the description. And you go ahead and click that link, and you'll go ahead and join the queue, just like we have Galina in the queue right now. And I'm going to add her up in a second. The second link in the YouTube description is for the membership. The podcast has been growing, so if you want to support this channel, go ahead and click that second link. We got 3 tiers: gang, hitman, and mob ties. All 3 tiers is different privileges and access that you get. The shirts, the merch, we sold out, man. So y'all gotta wait. We sold out the merch, so stay tuned. Actually, let me get the merch for y'all so y'all can see it real quick. We're going to restock back up shortly. All right, the merch is lit. Y'all see it. The God over man, man over woman, woman over children. This the truest merch, yo. No merch. Forget merch. No shirt is truer than this shirt. This the realest shirt ever. If you not rocking this, everything you wearing is fake. Put it like that. No Fugazee. This shirt, what is this? Fear of God, Essentials. This fake too. Anything I'm rocking is fake if I'm not rocking this, man. All right, let's get it. So that's gonna be the merch. We're gonna go ahead and redrop the merch. Give it about a week, man. We're waiting for some more to come in. We sold out. I think it was like over 300 shirts sold out already. So we got to restock back, and we're gonna have some more shirts popping off soon. We also got the Mr. Man glasses. You know, the famous glasses that I wear. Those will be releasing in 2 weeks. It's been backed up for a little bit. Other than that, the next link in the description is for the Discord, man. Join the Discord. Hey, we was in Miami last week, man, but I don't know if you could kind of hear it in my voice, yo. I got sick. So we had mad podcasts to do. I only did one podcast. I was in Miami having fun out there with the G-Wagon, with the boys, and, homie got sick. I don't know what I got. It was like COVID 3000 and it was like COVID 3000, bro. It was crazy. So yeah, we had a podcast with Hassan Whiteside. Really couldn't do that. I was super sick. So we had to cancel that one. And then we also had a few other podcasts set up on that Friday as well. But couldn't do those. Then I had a special feature. I was going to be featured on another podcast, but couldn't even do that, man. And then I was also going to do some more content with McQueen. Homie's mad cool. Also, shout out to McQueen, man. Homie mad cool. And shout out to Mentuition's podcast as well for inviting me into their studio and holding it down. So without further ado, let's go ahead and add Galina up. And once again, chat, I don't know who these people are. They just, they want to do debates and stuff like that. So I'm going to add them up, do regular introductions. We're going to talk about what they want to debate about, and we're going to get right into the topic. So let's get it. All right. Let me see. Why are you on? 1 second. Can I switch it? There we go. What's going on? State your name and where you from.
Galina, New York City.
Galina, New York City. How old are you?
40.
You 40?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you in a relationship?
Single.
You single. How long you been single for?
About going on 2 years.
You've been single for 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
Were you ever married before?
No. It's in a relationship.
You was never married before. Do you have any kids?
Yes.
You do have kids. How many?
Mm-hmm. 2. Well, 1. Yeah, my oldest is with his father, and I got my daughter.
Okay, so you got 2 kids. All right, so you I seen you in a Facebook comments, and you had some disagreements. So what did you want to speak about today?
Oh, well, whatever the topic is, you didn't tell me what we were talking about.
Okay, I'll just go ahead and I have a screenshot of what you commented on. And it was 2, you made 2 comments. I guess let's get into the first one and we'll watch the video. So the first thing you commented on, I wish I could pull it up. I didn't add it to the chat. Hold up, let's see. Just because I'm in. Okay, so the first video you commented on was about trauma. You said that in your comment. Well, let's go ahead and play the video, and then we'll get into your thoughts on what you disagreed about with the video. Okay, 1 second. Men and women experience trauma differently. When a man experiences trauma and overcomes trauma, he becomes a masculine man. A masculine man is more valuable to a woman. When a woman experiences trauma, The only way she can overcome it is by taking on more masculine traits. So she becomes a more hardened woman for her future man. Because the only way you can overcome trauma, you have to take on masculine traits. You got to be a little bit more non-agreeable. You got to be a little bit more assertive, a little bit more dominant. And inherently, men just view those traits in society. Human beings, we view that as masculine. The more things...
Deserving of a good man?
It's not saying that she's not deserving of a good man.
When you're at my age, you're more cautious.
You even admitted it recently when you said that an older woman like me, I have to be a little bit more cautious. Well, god dang, that's more walls that you have up that I got to break down because another nigga put you through some stuff that made you put them. All right, so that's pretty much the clip, ladies and gents. So, Galina, what do you disagree with that?
I said, on that video, I said about being given a reason to break down our own walls.
Okay, you think there should be...
I remember that.
Okay, well, what do you mean by being given a reason to break down their own walls?
Basically, a man showing a woman that he's not what I guess I could say she's used to, as far as being betrayed by men.
Okay, so you're saying that a woman having walls up is okay, but that man should have to prove that he is worthy for her to let her walls down.
Right.
Got you. And in that clip, I explained that, when a woman experiences traumas and adversities, walls go up. So it's not the man's fault that other men put her through things for her to put those walls up.
Yeah,
So
well,
Yep, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Well, you heard the expression, Peter paid for Paul, right?
No,
Explain it. Peter paid for Paul, meaning that I'm going to guard myself due to having been betrayed by men until the next man that I get with proves that he's not like, like how you say men are like all men are not the same. You know what I'm saying? Prove that. Prove you're not like the rest of them.
Okay. Let me ask you a question to test your logic, right? So you saying that a man should have to prove, his worth to a woman for her to then let down her walls to be more feminine and less masculine, because that's what the clip is about. The clip is about a woman going through traumas and adversities and her becoming more hardened due to her traumas and adversities.
No, I agree with that part.
Okay. Now you're saying that the man should just have to prove it, right?
Right.
Now, I'm saying in the clip that why should a man have to prove it when if his value is high enough, he could just choose a woman that's not as masculine and doesn't have those walls up? Let me ask you a question. You have a son. You have a son, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would you want your son to be with a woman that been through a lot and has walls up, and he has to prove to some woman for her to let her walls down? Or would you rather have your son be with a woman that hasn't been through much? She's a little bit more pure, a little bit more innocent, and she doesn't have all of these walls up, and she's able to just get on this program. Which woman would you want your son to be with?
That would be his choice. If he cares enough about the woman,
that's not my question.
He's 18. No, I'm going to answer your question. I'm answering your question. That's his choice. If he wants to be with that woman, he will respect the fact that she has been through what she has been through, and will be willing to work with her on, her insecurity.
Okay, that's not what I'm asking. So I'm asking you, I'm not asking for you to just say, oh, whatever my son wants to do, that's his choice to make. That's not the question. The question is, what would you advise? Which woman would you advise your son to date? The woman that been through stuff that got walls up, or the woman that been through less that don't got those walls up? Which woman would you advise your son to date?
Okay, which one would I advise?
Yes.
I would advise him to be with the smarter woman.
And which
But
woman do you think is smarter? The woman that had to learn from mistakes and past traumas, or the woman that was wise enough?
The woman that had to learn from mistakes.
Well, that's silly. So listen to the question again. Which woman is smarter? The woman that had to learn from her own mistakes that then made her put walls up, or the woman that learned from other people's mistakes that didn't have to go through anything so she doesn't have walls up? Which woman is smarter?
The woman that had to learn from her own mistakes.
Wait, what?
The woman that had to learn from her own mistakes. Experience is the best teacher.
Okay. I'll just say it one more time. Maybe on planet Earth you can realize what I'm saying.
I'm saying the woman that had to learn from her own mistakes, from her own experience, is the smarter one.
Got you. Well,
yeah.
All right. 1 second, ladies and gents. This is why single moms lead men and women astray, because she thinks the person that had to learn by mistakes is smarter than the person that learned from other people's mistakes and didn't have to go through those same problems and struggles. That doesn't make any sense. Life is very simple. All human beings, we like to mitigate risk. We like the easiest path to success. So a wise person, right? A wise person is going to be like, oh, I see, Jerry walked down that aisle when he bumped his head. Let me not walk down there. I see that this person went down that path and, they experienced some traumas and adversities. Let me not walk down that path. Let me learn from other people's mistakes so I don't go through those same traumas and adversities. That's the smart person. A person that is learning from their own mistakes. I mean, learning from your mistakes is good, but still is not as smart as the person that learned from other people's mistakes. Does that make sense? And what happened to, let me ask you a question. What happened to your baby's father? Why'd you break up with him?
Well, we just grew out of each other. We've been friends first for 15 years before we had our daughter.
Okay, who broke up with who?
Well, it was kind of a mutual agreement.
It was a mutual agreement?
Yeah.
It's never mutual. Who initiated? Whose idea was it to split apart?
His.
And
I just agree with it. I just said, listen, that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do.
And why did he want to break up with you? Because men normally don't break up with women. So if they break up with a woman, it's usually the woman did something crazy, or she didn't want to learn.
No, I'm gonna just say he was dealing with a personal life situation that I knew about, by the way, from the beginning.
Okay.
And he just had more on his plate that he could handle.
Okay. Now, are you looking for a man now? Are you currently in a dating market?
Nope.
You want to be single forever?
Maybe not forever, but not at this time in my life.
And why not?
Just don't have time.
You don't have time?
I got more on my plate than I could handle.
It could be a lot on your plate, but why don't? What's on your plate? Chicken wings, boneless wings, some salad dressing, some home fries, some lasagna. You got the yams on your plate. It seems like you got a lot on your plate. You got a lot on your plate?
All of that. All of that. My plate is full.
Your plate is full. All right. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I do this podcast for a reason. Maybe I can help you out a little bit. I mean, so you do want a man at some point in your life. What do you think, that you should be doing to get a man in the future? What's one thing you think that you could work on?
I think I think my trauma and insecurities, first of all.
Okay.
Trust issues.
Trust
The
issues.
ma-
So you got
Trust
them
is
walls
the
up. So
main
you
thing.
you proving my point right. You one of the ones that been through some stuff.
I got the Great Wall of China right now.
Okay, throw your face back in the camera so I can see you.
My bad.
You good? All right. So, what else do you think you need to work on?
I think that's the main thing.
That's the main thing. Okay. What's the second? What's the second in line to traumas and your adversities?
I really honestly don't know.
You
I
want
don't
me to
know.
give you one?
Hmm.
Okay. Are you okay with taking constructive criticism?
I am.
You need to get in the gym immediately. Immediately, not for just you, but for your kid's sake. Your kid, you said you have a daughter and a son. You want to go ahead and hop in the gym, start working out. You need to lose some weight. I could tell you have high cholesterol. We need to get that down. And you also have high blood pressure. I could tell. You need to get in the gym, have some discipline, even on the days you really don't feel like doing much. You said you got a lot on your plate. Well, you need to take some of that stuff off your plate, hop in the gym and start working out. Trust me, you do that, you'll feel better about yourself. That's going to be the first thing. The second thing, oh, can you not smoke the spliff online? Yeah, we on YouTube. Yeah, yes. The next thing, stop smoking a spliff. No more spliffs. Hop in the gym. Stop smoking the spliffs, okay? That's gonna help you out. And but I'm serious with you. Anyone can bounce back and lose some weight. Let me ask you a question. How much do you weigh right now?
Like 250,
250. How tall are you?
5'11".
5'11", 250?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, you need to bring that down. 5'11", you need to be around 150. 150, maybe 160 with females, maybe 160 if you want to keep a little thickness on you. But yeah, you got some pounds to lose. Are you sure only 250?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I'll take your word for it. Well, that's all I have for you today. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, that'd be all.
That'll be all? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for joining the stream.
Thank
And you
you.
have a blessed day.
Yeah,
Hop
you
in the
too.
gym immediately.
Blessed
Start
night.
working out. Stop smoking the spliffies.
It's not spliffies. I
What
don't
is it?
get high.
It's a cigarette?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah,
Peace. Hey, chat. We are live right now. Hey, man, this podcast called No Fugazee, bro. Got to keep it real. She heavy. She need to get in the gym and lose some weight. And one, she'll feel better about herself. She'll be healthier. Her kids, she will be in her kids' life for longer. So yeah. I see you in here. I see you you just came in a queue. I'll add you up in a second here, man. Let me go ahead and just check out the comments real quick. Let's see what we got. I know y'all probably going crazy in the chat too, man. Let's see. Oh yeah, everybody going crazy in the chat right now. Oh damn, we got mad people watching because I got mad people on Instagram too. Okay, if anyone wants to join the stream, it is the first link in a YouTube description. Go ahead and click that link and you can join the stream. Haters, people with different opinions, join the stream. Let's talk and have a good discussion. Everyone on Facebook and Instagram, if you want to join this live stream, you just can't click to join the live stream right on Instagram or on Facebook. You got to go to YouTube. That's No Fugazee on YouTube. You'll see this live stream and then you click on the description on YouTube, click on that first link. You'll get added to the queue. I see you, T. You just joined. I'm going to add you up after I add this gentleman on next. And 1 second here. We got Neil Tibbs. Welcome to the gang, bro. Thank you for joining the gang, man. Thank you for joining that membership. We got Mental Agility sends in $2. He says, it's Rob Peter to pay Paul. Sheesh. Yeah, man. Okay, let me go ahead and add you up. State your name and where you're from.
Yo, I go by Antenna. I'm from Florida right now. I'm in Florida.
Antenna, what's up?
What's up?
What you want to talk about today, man?
So I wouldn't necessarily call myself a hater, but I do disagree with some of the stuff that you said.
Sure. What do
Yeah,
you
so
disagree with?
so one of the one of the things that you said was that you often fight against the idea that when women typically say, or when you say that, like, oh, um I don't want a woman with a high body count, and then most women come with the accusation. I was like, oh, that has to do with your insecurity, or you're insecure or whatever. I was wondering, what's your defense for the claim of you being insecure?
When a man doesn't want a woman with a high body count, and the woman then claims that, oh, he's insecure because of it.
Yeah, like in most podcasts, you're often like, or the idea often gets said that, like, oh, the person's only saying that because they're insecure. I was wondering, what's your defense against that?
Well, what point do you disagree with? What did I say that you disagree with? Did you ever hear my rebuttal to that or no?
It's probably kind of from clips, so probably not.
Okay, you never heard my
That's why I was
rebuttal?
wondering. I was wondering, like, what's your defense for that? What do you say to that to somebody who
Yeah.
calls you insecure for that?
Yeah, if a woman calls a man insecure because he wants a woman with a
Not
less
just a
body,
woman, anybody who calls you insecure for that. What's your defense for that? Not
yeah,
just a
well,
woman, it doesn't have to be a woman.
I got you. The defense is very simple, man. The man isn't insecure. It's a preference to want a woman with a lower body count. Not only that it's a preference, let's peel the layer back. It's in a man's nature to want a woman with a low body count. A man is capable to spread his seed far and wide. A woman, she can only get pregnant and bring a kid full term, one kid once per year. So she's made for quality, right? So since the woman is made for quality, it's she should have some sexual temperance. You know what I mean? Also, sex for a woman is very easy to get. Women, I mean, that woman that I just had on the stream, she was obese, and I'm sure she could still sleep with more men than you and I can. It is what it is, because most men are attracted to most women, and most men don't have access to sex, so they'll kind of hit anything. With that being said, what's easy is not respected. You get it? So I can't be insecure as a man if I want a woman with a low body count, because that means that woman has some sexual temperance and she has more value than the other woman that has a high body count. But yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay. So, like, typically when I'm in debates or whatever, I try to, like, jot down what people say in order to keep track of all the ideas that's getting across or whatever. So
Sure.
I tried to write down or jot down exactly what you said, but I kind of, I can't type down everything, while you're talking. So
All good, man.
I
What
wrote
you
down
got?
I wrote down the 3 points that I caught or whatever. Is that number one, it's it's easier for women to get sex. That's number one. Number two, it's within a man's nature to spread his seed or have a lot of sex. And number three, it's just a preference. Okay, is that accurate?
Well, we're speaking about the woman. I just gave the differences. So let's just speak about the woman. It's not in a woman's nature to be sleeping around with a lot of men, right? The other thing is, when a woman, since it's easy for her to get sex and she has sex a lot, it's not respected, because what's easy is not respected. You look like you play video games, right?
Every day.
Every day. You already know, if you playing with Kevin, let's just make an imaginary friend that you have, Kevin. Kevin plays it on easy mode. You play it on hard mode. Who gets more respect?
Typically me.
Typically you. Yep, that's just the way life works. That's how the human mind perceives it. And then the third thing was the value, right? The woman that, she has some sexual temperance. Obviously, she has more value than a woman that doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanna go. I don't like to kind of speak in paragraphs or whatever. I want to kind of go point by point here.
Sure, let's
I
go.
want to address the first thing, right? Let's address the easy part, right? You said that because it's easier for a woman to get sex, therefore it's not as valued or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do you study like any sort of philosophy at all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so are you familiar with like within philosophy, there's a phenomenon that's called the is-ought gap or the is-ought problem. Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so within you should I mean you said you're aware of that. You should know that within philosophy, you're saying something you can't prescribe a moral claim or you can't prescribe like a value system from a fact of the matter. There's like something that is the case can't therefore ought to be the case, right? So given that's the case, saying something is easy to do, therefore it ought not to be valued, or we ought to prescribe some sort of less value to it, doesn't necessarily follow. There's a lot of things that come easy to people. That doesn't necessarily make it like, that doesn't mean we automatically devalue it simply because it's easy. That's not like that doesn't like logically follow.
That's why I asked you the question. If you're playing the game on easy mode, I gave a hypothetical. A hypothetical is to test your logic. Do you know the laws of logic?
Yeah.
Okay, so the hypothetical is to test your logic. That's why I said if you're playing a video game with your friend Kevin, he plays it on easy mode and beats the game. You play it on hard mode and beat the game. Who has more respect? You said that you would have more respect, right?
That's not what I said.
You said typically I would have more respect.
There you go.
There we go. Yes. Mm-hmm. So now let's think about women. It's easy for women to get sex, right? It's harder for a man to get sex, right? Since they play the sex game on easy mode, how we perceive it, just how you perceive the video game, everybody perceives the video game like that, my man. Everybody perceives the woman like that. It's just the facts of the matter. That is, every human being we perceive as the woman that's doesn't have any sexual temperance. No one respects that woman. Thousands of years ago in the Quran and the Torah and the Bible, no one respected her. She still doesn't get respect to this day. So sure, go ahead. So I understand your point as far as the is and the ought, right? So I made a is claim. So it is claim is just a description, right? It's a description. Then I made a prescription. The prescription is you really shouldn't be dating a woman with a high body count. The reasons being, right? So I could do that.
Well, hold on.
That's what's doable.
I want to address what you said here. So like I said, like that's right there is fallacious reasoning. You can't prescribe something. You can't prescribe a value system or an ought claim simply to the fact of the matter. Simply because something is the case doesn't necessarily follow that it ought to be deemed as such or deemed as this, deemed as high value, deemed as low value, whatever the case may be. You said that everybody thinks this way. That's why I also said that typically okay. Well, that's why I said that typically or whatever, most people would say like, yeah, I would, when it comes to the video game and Kevin or whatever, that's why I said typically, yeah, more people would say that I did the skillful thing or whatever. But like, again, it's typical for a reason. Then that's the case.
You. I'm letting you know it's biological. So let's do another hypothetical to test your logic, right? So if you had if you had a son, girl A has 100 body count. Girl B is a virgin. Now let's give her 1 body count. So girl A, 100 body count. Girl B, she has 1 body count. Who would you advise your son to marry?
Who would I advise my son to marry based off his stats or whatever? I would
now look the virgin. Okay. Now when you peel back the layer to why you perceive and you think that he should marry the virgin is because you are looking at longevity. You want the best for your son. So you already know that the virgin or the girl with one body count would be the best choice for your son. So now let's peel back the layer further. You're talking about you can't make an is claim with an ought. I'm telling you that the is, right? This is just a fact. And the ought claim literally goes with it. Because it
can't. That's
it goes with it. You could say it's fallacious, but it is. Yourself just admitted
you're admitting that it's fallacious. Like you can't do that. That's fallacious.
I don't admit that. What I'm saying is Every human being is going to make that choice. So how can it be fallacious?
Well, okay, so that's the other thing I want
Time
to
out.
get to.
Do you even know what fallacious means?
Yeah, it means that there's gap in reasoning. It means that your premise 1, premise 2 doesn't necessarily add up to your conclusion. So given that's the case, you said
then that doesn't make sense. I'm telling you, it isn't fallacious.
It is fallacious. You literally giving the is-ought gap. You're saying something is the case, and you're gonna prescribe a value system to a fact of the matter. You can't do that. That doesn't necessarily follow. So there's number one.
Well, you're proving my point by answering. Real quick, I'll let you go real quick.
Okay, let me finish.
The way I got you real second, quick,
well, hold
right?
on. You said that
I got you. Listen. I got you. It's very simple, right? Because I don't want you to get confused. Manipulation happens when you focus on the effects and not the cause. Let's just stick with the cause. You ain't finna manipulate me or my audience, right?
Okay, I'm not manipulating you. I'm just telling you it's a fallacy.
Listen.
Okay.
You just yourself answered to both hypotheticals that what's easy is not respected, and you just answered to the other hypothetical.
That's fallacious, though. That's what I'm saying.
Once again, to the other hypothetical, but the hypothetical is just to test your logic. So if you're trying to go against what I'm saying, obviously I'm thinking that you're trying to go against what I'm saying. You're trying to say that the woman that has a man choosing a woman with a high body count, you're saying that he wouldn't be insecure.
No.
That's okay. I said he wouldn't be insecure. Yeah. You're saying that he would be insecure.
Well, it depends on the reasoning. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm building to.
You're building to the reasoning. Well, look, no, but listen, right? There effects. All this stuff you're about to get into. Those are just the effects on things. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. When you get to the root of it, you just said, if your son had girl A or girl B, you would choose girl B because she has a lower body count.
For statistics,
it doesn't. Yeah, it's because the reasoning is just what it is. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Just as far as the video game, what's easy is not respected. It is what it is. That's the root of it, right?
Yeah, but
now we can talk about the effects. No, it's not, man.
You can say it is what it is. Hold on.
I'll let you go. Go ahead.
You can say that it's not, but you and I can search up the is-ought fallacy, and I can explain to you exactly how it is. But you also, another thing you said to kind of back up the fallacious reasoning is that, well, everybody believes it. Yeah, well, everybody believed the world was flat. That doesn't make it, just because everybody believes something doesn't make that necessarily true. That's called the appeal to majority fallacy.
Not belief.
So hold on. Not only that,
we're wired this way.
Hold on. You also appeal to religion or whatever. Again, that's also appeal to tradition. Just because something is traditionally the case doesn't necessarily mean that it ought to be the case. All of these are just stacked on logical fallacies that you're just building up. I can explain to you like in depth how each one is fallacious. But
I'm letting you know that by your answers, bro, you're going all over the place. With your answers, you just said that it ought to be that way.
What?
Your answers proved that it ought to be that way. Now let's break it down. Your answers to the hypothetical. Come on, bro. Let's make it all make sense. I asked you a hypothetical to test your logic because I know where this goes. I've done many debates, right? So the hypothetical is to test your logic.
Yeah.
So I'm letting you know that your answer proved that it ought to be that way. You said that you would choose the girl with the lower body count. So that means that it ought to be that way. You said that what's easy is not respected. So that means that what are you talking about? That is an alt claim. You just went ahead and answered it, bro. Okay, so you just said that. You would advise your son he ought to do this. He ought to choose the girl with the lower body count. Sure. He ought to. So what are you talking about? Come on, bro.
The problem there is that I'm not contradicting myself because
you are.
Okay, if you let me finish, I can explain to you how I'm not.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. So the reason why I'm not contradicting myself here is because what I was building to was the idea that when a man says that I don't want a woman with a high body count, that is built-in insecurity. The real reason is because he's insecure. Now, me saying that I would want my son to marry the virgin instead of the woman with the 3 million body count or whatever is because
just 100.
Hold on. Oh, that's no. I'm helping you out. It could be 300, 3,000, 3 million, right? Infinite. The reason why I want my son to marry the virgin is because you would probably agree. Statistically, the relationship has a better chance of surviving if you were to date the virgin. Would you agree to that?
Every human being knows that.
Okay, cool. So the problem, though, is that that's still insecurity. That's still insecurity. The
You
reason
think
why
that that's
hold on,
insecurity?
let me explain.
Okay.
The reason why you want him to date the virgin is because if you were to date the woman with 300 body count, due to you reading stats, you are not sure of, not secure in, and not assured in. Those are the definitions of insecurity. You're not sure if this relationship is going to last. You are unassured. You're not secure if this relationship is going to last. You are unassured of. That would still be insecurity. It's just that your insecurity is backed by facts. It makes sense that you would be insecure, but you're still insecure. So yeah, you can't escape that there. Even if
So
statistics, that would still be insecurity.
yeah, man. So this is that you're incorrect. But here's what insecurity means. Insecurity means lack of confidence. It also means that you're
not
unsure of
confident in the
yourself.
fact that this relationship
Let me
is gonna
finish.
last, so that would
Let me
still be
finish.
insecure.
No.
Yes,
Let me
yes.
explain what the
I'm
difference
not
of
confident in
a
the fact that
secure
this
man.
relationship is going to last. So I want you to date the virgin. If you were
Wrong,
to date the
wrong.
woman with 300 body count, I'm not confident in the fact that that relationship is going to last. That would still be insecure. You can
No, man.
rephrase that as much as you want. It's still
It's not a
insecurity.
rephrase. You sound like one of the chicks on the podcast. So like, I'll explain it to you how I explain it to the chicks. I thought you're a man, so I thought you would have a little bit more logic and reason.
This is ad homs, bro.
So
It's just ad homs. Give me an
This is not an ad hom.
You
This
just called
is
me a
what
woman.
you said.
That's an ad hom.
No, I said that you're a man. I didn't call you a woman.
You said I sound like one of those chicks. That would be an ad hom.
I said that I have to talk to you like one of the chicks.
Right, so that's an
Got
ad
it.
hom. That's an ad hom. You're
Perfectly fine. You could
Okay.
take a shot
I
back.
like
It's
how
okay.
you told your other debates or whatever that you're just
You could
ad-homming,
take
you're
a
just ad-homming. Here
you could
are
take a
doing the
shot.
exact same thing.
Got
But
you.
okay.
You could take a shot back, but let me
I'm
explain
not
to you the
ad-homming you. I have actual arguments, so yeah, go ahead.
I mean, your arguments is weak. Okay, so insecurity, right?
Uh-huh.
Insecurity means a lack of confidence, means that you're unsure about yourself. So a man, you get it? A man
Heard you.
that is insecure.
Mm-hmm.
That guy, he's going to settle with anything because normally he has a lack of options or he doesn't understand his own value, right? And he's not secure in his position in the dating market to have the ability to get another girl. So he's going to take the woman with the high body count. That's what that man would do. The man that's secure, he's like, wait, no, why would I take the chick with a high body count when I could date a chick with a lower body count that's just as pretty? I'm going to take that chick because all human beings, we like the easiest path to success. That is what it is. And also a smart human being, we like to mitigate risk. So the human being that's choosing the girl with the low body count rather than the girl with the high body count, he isn't insecure, he's smart. The other dude is a dummy, and not only that, if he's not a dummy, listen, and if he's not a dummy, he just doesn't have enough options, and he's not secure with his position in the dating market to attract other women. One mic at a time, buddy. Listen, we're gonna get to all points, okay?
Well, you're
so
just
that's listen. Stop it. Okay, stop it. We're gonna get there.
Well, you're
one mic
speaking
at a
in
time.
paragraphs, and you're making.
No one's speaking in paragraphs. Nope. Listen, buddy.
You just stated
chill out.
3 or 4 sentences. That's literally a paragraph. So
listen,
again,
I'm not done giving my rebuttal to what you said, bro. So just relax, and then we'll get to each point that you have a contention with. You got it?
Sure.
Got it. So with that being said, what you have to understand, competence leads to accomplishments, and then which leads to confidence. Right? So when you have that true, genuine confidence, you have options. When you have options, you have an abundance mindset. When you have an abundance mindset as a man, you have the ability to be intolerant of females' inadequacies. Most men don't meet that. Most men aren't competent. They aren't accomplishing anything, and they don't got that true, genuine confidence to attract women, right? So they settle with anything. And I say that those men are insecure because they're normally settling with a chick with the high body count. Any man that settles with the chick with the high body count, he's insecure because he's going against what his nature is even telling him. You get what I'm saying? His nature is telling him, nigga, no, you don't want a hoe. Get the chick that's hasn't had a whole lot of bodies. Get the chick that's more pure. That's what a man nature yearns for. So what are you talking about?
Okay,
Go with your other part.
Address both parts, right? So when you say
address the first part, you said something about
okay, I will. So when you said that like the man who goes for the woman with the 300 body counts, that's the actual insecure because he's not confident that he can get another woman, so he settles for the one that has a 300 body. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay, I agree.
Yeah, buddy. You agree?
Okay, I agree. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
so
here's my problem.
What's your problem?
Here's my problem: is that the
Uh-huh.
person, for the reasons that you gave, the
Uh-huh.
person who picks the one who's 0 body count, he says, well, I picked the one with 0 body count because if I were to pick the one who doesn't have a 0 body count, I read these stats. They say this, that.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. Stop it there. No, stop it there. That isn't what I'm saying.
Okay, why did he pick? Well, I asked you why he's smart to pick the virgin.
Okay, I got you. I'll answer that. Okay. Men have to earn their value. You living in La La Land right now. Men have to earn their value. How old are you, real quick? Let me ask you a question. How old are you?
It's irrelevant. Go on.
I'm 35. It is relevant. How old are you?
It's irrelevant. Just continue.
Answer the question, bro, or I'm kicking you off the stream. How old are you, bro?
What is it? How does this support your argument? I can understand what you're saying.
I'm helping you out real quick, bro, because you're living in delusion land. So let me help you. How old are you? Just answer the question.
I don't feel like sharing my age on here. I'm uncomfortable with that. Just continue with the point. I understand what you're saying. I literally repeated your arguments to you verbatim. You agree.
Okay. I don't even need to know the exact age. Are you under 25 or older than 25?
I'm in my 20s. I'm in my 20s. Sure.
Are you younger than 25 or older than 25?
I'm younger.
You're younger than 25. So there's things in this world that you currently just don't understand.
Oh
One, you're scrawny. You need to get in the gym,
age, bro.
Well, listen, it's just a fact. You need to listen, man. I'm trying to help you out.
I didn't want to share my age, bro.
It's okay.
This is ad
No, it's okay.
Like, it's ad hoc. Like, you're
right
too young.
now,
you can't understand this. Like, I'm literally refuting your arguments, repeating.
You didn't refute anything.
Verbatim, and
you agreed to my argument.
Now you're going to pull the age card. This is exactly what I didn't want to share my age.
No, you agreed to it.
This is a sign that you know that your own argument is like weak because you have to appeal to my age to kind of invalidate my refutation.
No,
man. That's ad hominem. Like, you can't say, oh, there are things in this world you're too young to understand. I literally repeated your arguments verbatim, and you said that yes, that is accurate. Like, what?
No. Listen, you just agree with everything that I said. All my alt claims. All my alt claims, you even agreed to the alt claims. So this is what I'm saying.
To the hypothetical. And what I was explaining to you is that even me picking the virgin, and even me saying that the typically people would say that I would when in regards to your video game hypothetical, right? What I was trying to explain to you was that doesn't contradict what I'm saying, because I would still be admitting my insecurity. The reason why I picked the virgin is because statistically, virgins have the high likelihood of surviving a relationship more than the body count of 300 or whatever. The point is, both would still fall under the realm of insecurity. That still would be insecure.
It wouldn't. So
it would.
You just said, one, you already admitted that you agreed that men have to earn their value. You agreed to the competence, accomplishments, confidence. When you got confidence, you have more options. When a man has more options, he's less likely to be tolerating promiscuous women. I thought you did agree to that. You didn't agree to that?
No. So what I agreed to was that you said that the person who settled for the woman with 300 body count because he believed that he can't get another woman or whatever, that would be insecure. I agreed to that. Yeah. But the problem is that both would fall under insecurity. Like,
got you. So
insecure in both realms.
No. So look, I'll explain it another way so you understand. Maybe you're just not understanding me. Got it, right? I'm saying this very simple. The reason why I asked your age is because men aren't born with their sexual value. We have to earn our sexual value. So when you earn your stripes and you're in the gym, you're working out, you're overcoming adversities, you are meeting goals and accomplishing things, that builds character. And as you build character, you become a more attractive man to the opposite mate, right? You become a more attractive man to women. When you become a more attractive man to women, you got options. You got an abundance mindset. And then you have the ability to be intolerant. You have testosterone, right? Every day, your nutsack is creating more seeds in you. So you got a oomph that's in you that you need to release. Every man does. So when you build up options and you have an abundance mindset, you're not going to tolerate the chick that's stripping on the pole, that's doing OnlyFans, a chick with a high body count. You got options now. You could choose the more pure girl. That's what I'm saying. So if the man has options and he's choosing the more pure woman, how is it? No, listen. The why is No,
Why
got
is
you.
he picking the one that with zero body count? Why?
I already told you. It's from nature. It's innately in men to pick a woman that's more pure. You don't think it's innate?
Okay, hold on. Let me
So
address
you're saying that our innate, real quick, time out. You're saying that our innate urge in a man to pick a woman that's pure, you're saying that is insecure?
Okay, can I
No, time out. Answer that real quick. No,
I'm
answer
trying
that.
to answer it and you keep cutting me off. Like,
Go
if
ahead,
you
right
allow
now.
me to answer it, I can. Okay. So
Go ahead.
the thing is that your insecurity doesn't, it's not, it doesn't exist independently of itself. Okay. It's a feeling that it's another feeling, just like any other feeling or whatever, right? Your feeling can come from your biology, your subconscious, your statistics, whatever the case may be. You can be insecure. That's fine. The reason why you're insecure is rooted in your biology. Who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. It's still insecurity.
No.
But another thing, hold on,
I'm
wait,
not
wait,
saying
let me
that.
address the nature.
So,
Let me address the nature.
No,
Let me
answer
address
the
hold on,
question
sir. I just listened to
precisely,
you
real
speak in
quick.
a whole paragraph.
I
So
know, got
can I
you.
continue? I
Answer.
want to get to the nature part.
Just give
So
me
when you
real quick.
hold
Give
on,
me a
hold
yes
on,
or
let me
no
address
before
the
you go
nature.
on. I
Sorry.
know. Give me a yes or no. Give me a yes or no.
Yes or
Are
no
you
for what?
saying? Answer the question. Are you saying that it's in a man's nature? Every man has a nature to want a woman that's pure, that
Okay.
hasn't been ran through and had many penises in her. You're
Yeah, I
saying
heard
that
you.
that nature in a man is insecure. Yes or no? That's
Dude.
checkmate, nigga. Shut up. You sound stupid.
Bro.
On to the next, bro.
Oh
On to the
my
next. You out
God.
of here. Out of here. Nigga just want to talk the talk. At the end of the day, hey, man, we got more people in here, so we're going to get some more people in. Homie couldn't understand he got checkmated on everything. Like, come on. You talking about insecure, that's a lack of confidence. And then I checkmated you. So you're saying that it's in a man's nature to be insecure? He's like, oh, no, I can't say it's in a... No, that's not what I'm saying. Well, that is what you're saying. Because I broke it all the way down. And this is what happens, chat. Pay attention to people like that. He's a young guy, but pay attention anytime someone is focusing on effects, they're trying to manipulate you. That's why I didn't go outside of, he was talking about all of this other stuff. I know about that. My debating tactic is always to go with the cause and to never go away. I want you to learn something too, young man, because I see you're probably still watching. Never wiggle away from the cause. Stay with the cause. But your cause has to be truthful. He didn't want to go to the cause because he didn't really probably understand the cause because he's a young guy. So I had to give him some game. Manipulation happens when you focus on the effects instead of the cause. I focused on the cause the whole time he was talking about the effects, and that's why I obliterated him in that little debate. It is what it is. We got T. Welcome to the chat, brother. Where you from?
Oh,
you again, man. You back.
It's me again. I'm back.
You are back, man. What's up, man? Name
How are you?
and I'm doing good, man. Name and where you from so the audience know.
T, I'm in Central California.
T in Central California. What city?
Bakersfield?
Bakersfield? Okay, cool. What's up, man? What you got for me today?
Sort of want to pick up where you just left off with Antenna.
Okay, cool.
Antenna, if you're still watching, please look up the counterintuitive trends in the link between premarital sex and marital stability. And then I want to say that I've seen you reference this survey before, but I know guys in the sphere have.
Okay.
I guess I'm curious to your stance on, because you said, and you helped me rephrase what you just said, that it is in a man's nature to want a pure woman. Sort of something along those lines, right?
Yeah, it's in a man's nature to want a woman that's not, promiscuous. Every man, if he had a choice in his right mind, if it isn't perverted yet, he would choose a pure woman. Yes.
And he would probably choose that woman based upon just wanting to have like a successful marriage.
He would not even just wanting to have a successful marriage. Men kind of fall in love with their eyes. That's just naturally what it is, and we'll have a visceral reaction just by not only that, thinking of women being with other men. You could say that that's insecure if he's going off and thinking about being a woman being with other men. But not only that, men, we just have an innate tendency about us to want to, how can I say it? Not be protective. What's the word? Not obsessive. What's the freaking word I'm thinking of? To just kind of like, be in charge of that relationship, to be the man of that household. You know what I mean? I can't even think of the word.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I guess
sure.
there's a part of me that is, how do we know that that hasn't been nurtured into us from society? And I guess even more so with the survey that I just told Antenna to look up.
Yeah.
The surveys you guys have, or I don't know that it's you directly, but in your sphere has referenced that, yes, if you marry a virgin.
Territorial, that's the word. I'm sorry.
Sure,
Men are just naturally territorial. That's what I mean. Yeah.
100%.
Go ahead.
I'm fine with that. So in the survey, it says, yes, if you want to have the most successful marriage, marry a virgin. If you want to have the next best option is to marry a woman with one partner, which obviously makes sense. But now this is where I think the data sort of goes against what you're saying, is that a woman with two partners is more likely to divorce historically than a woman with 10 plus partners. And this is a study done over 30-ish years, roughly 10,000 women. And so, yeah, I'd be curious to hear your stance to how could we say that it is innate when the data says otherwise?
What study are you referencing?
It is the counterintuitive trends in the link between premarital sex and marital stability.
Can you comment? Can you comment the link in the chat so I can pull it up? Because that sounds differently from the studies I look up.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it for you. Let's see. Let me pull this up here. Okay, there's this.
You see the private chat?
I saw the option. Okay,
yeah, you can throw it right in there.
Okay, copy. Okay. Oh, yep, there it is. Okay, boop. There you go. Get it?
And yeah, I got it right here. Thanks, bro. Well, I don't have the link. That's just.
Was that just text?
Yeah, that's just text.
Okay.
And to everyone else in the chat, I'm going to get to y'all soon. I see Shiloh. I see Jay in here. And Antenna, I see you still in here too, man. If you want to wait a little bit, I'll bring you back on later, man. Just come with more solid stuff, man. And gotta be a little bit more solid, man. Thanks, bro. I got it here now.
Okay, perfect.
All right, let me bring this up real quick. All right, so you're pretty much saying that a woman with a two body count
has a higher
chance of divorcing the man than a woman with 10 body count.
Historically, correct.
Historically, got it.
Correct. This is done from 1980 to 2000.
Okay, so let me go ahead and read through this here to see what the reasonings are from it. Do you have a jot list of what the reasonings are for it, so I don't have to read all of this?
I skimmed through it, but
okay, let's see.
I think we could probably go back and forth on the reasoning as to why. There's not going to be we would be making inferences on our own opinions as to why, but this is the data.
Yeah. Let's take a look. I know it's always for like some type of reasoning. Sometimes these studies really don't give a reasoning.
I don't know that they can.
Now.
And that's the thing.
Sometimes they normally don't give a reasoning. It's just data. So we have to use our common sense.
Right. And I think that's where I would want to.
We have to speak about it logically. Yeah. So we could explore it. I'm skimming through it now. I don't see.
Yeah, no, take your time. Take your time.
1 second here.
Because again, I think, and partially I'd probably even tie this into oxytocin as well.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, I could give you my logical reasoning to why that woman, which in this space, most men already know. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Rollo Tomasi. He talks about it as well. He talks about a phrase called alpha widowed.
Sure.
Alpha widowed. I'm sure you heard of that. That's when a woman gets with a man that's the big G, and other guys just don't measure up.
Sure.
That woman tends to just be sprung on that guy. Other guys don't measure up. So when she gets with another guy, she's always comparing and contrasting based off the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if she can't go ahead and get that guy, then she'll just look for another big G that can outcompete the first man, whoever alpha witted her. That's what it is. So I would say that one of the reasonings for that would be women like to compare and contrast with charisma, penis sizes, finances, and a multitude of other traits in a man that they see longevity in. So if the woman was with the big G, and that big G went ahead and broke up with her, and she got with she was with the big G, she got with a smaller case G, lowercase G, but she can't get that big G again. Could be a probability that she will be still feeling like FOMO, fear of missing out, and she's going to be missing out from what she had before. Yeah. So that can be a thing as well. Also, I'll give another one. One of the other reasons could be from a woman with 10 body count than a woman with 2 body count. It could be that we could speak about the oxytocin a little bit, but I would say that the woman with the 10 body count, it could just be reversed, right? Maybe she really never, she was experienced men, and then she got with the big G, and the big G locked her down. You know what I mean? And now because you got to go through, a lot of men ain't the big G. Right. So she was going through men, she met the big G, and it's like, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and settle here at this 10 body count with the big G. So it could be opposite, but I got some other examples too. What's your thoughts?
I don't think that's like statistically plausible, because if we're talking about like the big G, Andrew Tates, we know these guys are what, 1%, 2% of the population. So the odds of this woman encountering them like as their second partner is slim. It would be much more likely for the woman with 10 plus to encounter the big G through her conquest, which then makes you wonder, well, then why is the woman with 10 plus partners more likely to stay married versus the woman with 2? And then it leads me back to like FOMO. The woman that's getting married with 2 partners is probably getting married younger, and is probably getting married at 21, 22, and then gets to be 28, 29, just like, yo, I missed out on XYZ. And then now she just probably wants to go elsewhere. I think that, for me, that logically tracks.
That logically tracks. Okay, well, let's peel the layer back even further to the cause and the root of it. I would say that, any woman that's going to be promiscuous and sleeping around with a whole lot of men, obviously they haven't had the probability is higher if she's doing that she didn't come from a 2-parent household. For her to be sleeping around with men. Fathers normally keep their daughters off of stripper poles and doing a lot of degenerate stuff. Fathers also usually keep their sons out of prison and stuff like that. So having a disciplinarian in a household and being raised with a father, that lessens the chance of the woman being promiscuous and, just divorcing the man. Also, with the woman being raised with the father, a good man, I'm not just talking about it, a good father. Or let's speak in general, right? Let's speak in general. Just, it's a higher probability just with a father being in the household, she'll be able to accept and digest the man's love. That means that when she gets with a man, she's not just going to be, bouncing around because she doesn't feel like whole. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
And she can accept, a man, hey, baby, going out with your friends. Hey, baby. She can't accept the rules and the guidelines of being with a real man. But if she had a real father in her life, she's more likely to accept and digest a man's love and her future partners. So with the father, she's less likely to divorce a man. Without a father, she's more likely to divorce a man. And also, you got to think about it. Most women, when they file for divorce, the number one reason is like irreconcilable solid differences. So it's like based off how they feel. It's not even based off of and then the second reason is finances. But usually it's just they feel like they don't like the dude anymore, so they divorce him. So.
Right. Now, when you say a woman that is sort of just outside like that, would you say like a woman that's probably been sexually active from 17 that is now 30 that has 11 bodies, 12 bodies. Would you call that promiscuous?
Promiscuous, yes.
A woman that slept with one person for every year that she's been an adult, that would be promiscuous in your opinion?
I would say a woman that had sex with 11 men, promiscuous.
Regardless of age?
Regardless of age.
Okay. And then one more, and then I have another topic. If you had like twin sisters to choose from for your son, and one of the sisters has been with one guy for 5 years and slept with him over 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
The other sister has been with 5 or 6 guys, but only slept with each of them roughly 50 times. Do you think there would be an argument to be made that the woman that slept with the one partner 1,000 times could potentially have more pair bonding to that one individual since she's had more sex with him?
Yes, I would argue not more peer bonding, right?
Stronger effect.
I would argue that woman that was with that man, it's a higher probability that she could be alpha widowed, meaning that if she breaks up with him and she gets with my son, it could be a little bit something there.
And see, I agree with that, but that sort of flies in the face of body count mattering.
But that's not the woman that I would advise my son to choose. But the woman that had, because you got to think about it, having one sexual partner shows that woman has sexual temperance. That shows that woman was dedicated to a long-term relationship. She has character. She built up character. You know what I mean? She is a virtuous woman. She wasn't just out hooking up with men, even though the other girl hooked up with 5. You know what it takes? 5 penises, bro? Like, you have to look at it from the female's lens. In order for a woman to have sex with a man, she has to like that man to a degree. And it's usually to a high degree, a much higher degree than we have. Not only that, when a woman has sex with a man, she submits her body and her will to that man. Not only that, when she has sex with a man, sex is the most ultimate form of submission for a woman. There's many forms of submission. Sex is the most ultimate form of submission for a woman.
Depending on the woman.
No. Not depending on a woman. I'll explain in detail, right? Us as men, how do we submit to things? We submit to God. God over man, man over woman, woman over children. That's just, it is what it is. We submit to God. God is a stronger being than us. Men, we are a stronger being than a woman. Not only that, we have something that goes inside and dominates the woman. The sexual act of sex itself is in fact dominating for a man and submissive to a woman. Now think about forms of submission. A woman can cook for you. She could clean. She could rub your back. She could talk nice to you. She could cheerlead for you. All those are acts of being submissive. But laying on your back and being railed and accepting being railed, wanting to be railed, desiring to be railed, and dominated to penetrate it. You know, if a big G, he's smacking it, flipping it, and rubbing it down all the time when he in a sexual act. So it is the most ultimate form of submission physically, is what I'm saying.
I guess we could agree to disagree there, and I guess I would probably make.
How would you disagree with that? What would be more of a more submissive form for a woman other than sex?
A more submissive form for a woman other than sex?
No, well, yeah, like I'm saying that sex is the most ultimate form of submission. So is there another form of submission for a woman?
I was disagreeing.
That's more than sex?
I was disagreeing the other part you said, how you're saying men don't submit to anything except to God.
I mean, of course, slavery happened and men submitted to other men and things like that. But you know what I'm saying.
I would say that men submit to their emotions. And this sort of goes to one of your previous conversations about men being more emotionally intelligent, which I disagree with. Not to go too far off there.
We could get into that next, but go ahead.
But we know, like, for a fact that men make up 93% of the criminal population. We know that men make up the majority that unalive themselves. We know that men make up the majority that are addicted to...
hold that thought real quick. I'm going to close down the IG stream and the Facebook stream because I see normally when I have you in, we talk about all these topics that ain't too really good for Facebook and IG.
Gotcha.
I see where you was just going. I'm like, let me hold it.
I try to use professional language for you.
Everyone on Instagram, I'm going to close down the Instagram stream. Come on over to YouTube. That's No Fugazee Podcast on YouTube. Everyone on Facebook, I'm closing down the Facebook stream. Come on over to YouTube. That's No Fugazee Podcast. Give me 1 second.
No, take your time.
Okay, let's see. All right, let me just make sure they closed out. Hold up. Hold up.
You got to dock your producer's wages.
They never really here on Wednesday for these streams.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, usually Dolo.
Gotcha.
Sometimes Steve is here, but all good. Yo, so I'm sorry. What were you saying?
I was saying that we know that men make up like 93% of the prison population. We know they make up the majority that unalive themselves. We know that they make up the overwhelming majority that are addicted to substances, gambling, you name it. We know that they make up the majority that abandon their children. All of these things are emotions that they are being submissive to. I would probably argue that a man, or that anyone that is submissive to gambling or corn is more submissive to that than a woman would be to having sex.
Okay, so you're comparing. All right, well, that doesn't dispute what I said. We can get into that, though. I
don't. Like I said, I don't necessarily disagree with you saying like that a woman is submissive during sex. I agree with that.
Okay, yeah, I'm just saying that sex for a woman is the most ultimate form of submission. Sex for a man is not the most ultimate form of submission. So,
Agreed.
And the facts that when you said that, a man has vices and he could be, submissive to his vices and ruled by his vices. Yeah, I would say that that's more submissive than him having sex. I wouldn't say that that's more submissive if we're comparing a man at his most ultimate form of submission and a woman at her most ultimate form of submission. I still wouldn't compare a man and his vices as his most ultimate form of submission. I would compare a man having discipline as his most ultimate form of submission because discipline is more harder to do. So a man submitting to God, right, and being a virtuous man and not masturbating, not drinking, not smoking, not abusing women, not being argumentative, acting despite how he feels, being able to regulate his emotions. I believe a virtuous man, that man is truly submitting to a higher purpose. And I think that is hard because most human beings can't do it at all. I think when a man submits to his purpose is the most ultimate form of submission. So I would look at it more as a positive thing rather than a negative thing because it's very easy for us to submit to things, right? It takes discipline not to submit to things as a man. But for a woman, we could say it on a woman too. Women don't they have to be stimulated emotional to some capacity to have sex with a man. Not mean that they got to fall in love with the man to have sex with him. But they have to like that man. Normally, they have a lot of guys in their inbox, a lot of guys that approach them, and only like 1 or 2 dudes is hitting it that month. Even with the most promiscuous woman, maybe 3 guys is hitting it that month. They got so many men that's hitting them up, and they only choose maybe 1 to 3 men within that month. The average thought. You know what I'm saying? The average thought normally does that. So that means that she's still disqualifying mad people. So that means that she's being very submissive to the guy that she chooses to sleep with, right? Because that's her form of submission.
I think for when a woman is being submissive to sex,
Yeah.
it's still mutually beneficial for her to have sex because she's obviously enjoying that as well. So that's why I sort of go back and forth, because now if a man is submitting to a vice, that is something that is like a net negative. If a man is submitting to a substance, not only is he paying to harm himself, he's paying to make himself lesser
So
of the.
let's compare it this way then. So, because we're like comparing apples to oranges.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So let's compare a promiscuous woman submitting
sure.
to a whole lot of men.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's compare a man submitting to, a vice.
And this would be interesting. And my hot take here would probably be that if we were to look at the data, just like the data I provided you,
Sure.
we may see that a promiscuous woman, 10 plus partners, may
Yeah.
be better suited for marriage than a man that is addicted to a substance. I'm almost positive that would be true.
Better suited for a husband than a man that is addicted to a substance.
An addict would be less suitable for a wife than, because we see the data that a woman with 10 plus partners is less likely to divorce than a woman with 2 plus partners.
Uh-huh. Now you're saying
So,
that a man that is addictive to some type of vice, he's not suitable for that woman?
suitable for a woman. He is less suitable.
Suitable for a woman.
An addict will probably have a higher probability of divorce than that woman of 10 plus partners.
Well, the woman initiates the divorce. I don't think the addict would even divorce the woman, but you're saying that the addict it'll
I'm
be a
saying
higher
that
probability for the woman to divorce that addict.
I'm saying that the addict will has a higher likelihood of
Of being
ending up
divorced.
correct than the
Okay,
woman with 10
got
plus
you.
partners. Correct.
I mean, when I look at that logically,
Doesn't
we
sound
could get
crazy,
it. We
but
could get into detail, but it doesn't sound
well,
crazy because.
maybe this goes to my next point, and maybe you can give me a little clarity
Well,
on this.
Sure,
Yeah,
let me elaborate on that
oh,
real
go
quick,
ahead,
and then
go
let's
ahead.
go to your point. Because when I'm thinking about it logically, right,
Mm-hmm.
a man that has vices, well, that's addicted to something, he's not suitable. He wouldn't be suitable for my daughter.
Right,
A
100%.
woman with a high body count, she wouldn't be suitable for my son. So if we're looking at it just from a quick blanket statement, I could say, fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah, go on.
The next thing that this doesn't logically follow for me, so I know
Sure.
you'll walk me through it. You've said before, women control access to sex and men control access to marriage. That doesn't, the sex part tracks for me. No argument with you on the sex part.
Uh-huh.
Men controlling access to marriage is the part that doesn't logically follow for me.
Okay. How doesn't it? Want
For
me to
example,
explain? Okay,
or
go ahead.
I'll give you a quick analogy, and I'll
Sure.
tell you why it doesn't.
And one thing, Shiloh and Jay, I see you. Give me about 5 minutes with T. I'm having a good discussion. Then I'm going to go ahead and add you up. Go ahead, T.
So, for example, if I propose to you,
Uh-huh.
that you change the name of the No Fugazee podcast to T's podcast, you are controlling the access to my proposal, right?
Okay. You said that if you propose that I change the name of No Fugazi podcast
To T's
I-
podcast. Mm-hmm.
to T's podcast, like I changed the name to T's podcast, I control the key to that.
Correct.
Correct.
You agree with that?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So when we say that men control access to marriage, even though they're the ones that are proposing and they are waiting, and the answer to that proposal is contingent upon the woman's answer, wouldn't the woman's answer be the one that controls the access?
No. So let's peel back the layer a little bit, because that's
Okay.
a blanket statement, but we got to go with the root cause of things. Like we would start with the
Perfect.
effects, and totally fine.
Perfect.
So when we say that men control access to marriage and women control access to sex, like men grant access to marriage, the act of most women. So it's like this. The reason why women, let's speak with the women so it makes sense to all of us, right? The reason why women control access to sex is because most men just want sex.
And I think that goes back to my root cause, but go ahead.
So now men control access to marriage because most women just want marriage.
But now the
So
data
now
says
let's-
otherwise.
So now let's peel back the layer even deeper, right? since most women want a marriage, the thing is that women are picky creatures.
Sure.
And they have many boxes. They're hypergamous, right? They want the best deal that they can get. That means that a woman just won't marry anybody, right? They're not like men. Men, we have lower standards. We'll have sex with almost anybody. But a woman ain't almost marrying anybody. You get it?
Agreed. I agree.
So it's the standards are different, right? Women's standards are higher when it comes to marriage. Men's standards are lower when it comes to sex. So
Now-
with that being said, right, since a woman standards are higher, the men that she will accept marriage from, she still has to do certain things for that man to then propose the marriage. You know what I'm saying? She still has to meet
that she
a
has
certain
smaller selection
standard.
pool.
She has a smaller selection pool. So since she has a smaller selection pool, well, guess what? Men do grant access to marriage. I'm not saying all men, because there's a lot of men that ain't marriageable.
Okay, that's cool.
But I would say that all women grant access to sex. It's a little
Okay.
bit different.
Now I disagree on multiple levels.
Sure,
So
go ahead.
The data suggests otherwise, that men desire marriage more than women. More so because it, like you guys always say, that women are the ones that desire divorce. So it almost seems it would be like sort of an oxymoron to say, oh, well, women want to be married more, but we also know they want to be divorced more. Secondly, in
Well,
likelihood of...
let's go point to point real quick.
Okay.
Yeah. With that being said, I wouldn't concede to that point, because women, yes, no one in this space says that, women don't want marriage. Women do want marriage. They just don't have the ability to get proposed to by the guy that they really want, because women are innately picky. Women are innately, they have more standards. So yes, women divorce men. They initiate the divorces. That's because in a woman's nature, it's hard to satisfy a woman. And it's harder to satisfy a woman that's been promiscuous. It's harder to satisfy a woman that's experienced things and been through adversities and traumas.
Well, we've already seen the data that flies in the face of that. So we can't
It doesn't.
say that anymore.
Well, I granted you your data. I have data that's differently that I could send you. And
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, and it doesn't show. It doesn't show that. I'll bring it up. I'll send it to you in the chat in a second. It doesn't show that.
Take your time.
The data that I pretty much have, it shows that when a woman reaches a body count between 5 and 6, the probability for her to maintain a long-term relationship drops down to 20%. When a woman has a body count of 10, is over for her. Is below 20%. Is below 20%. So the data that I have is different, but it's okay to go off of data.
Sure.
But we could also just have a common sense, logical discussion on it, which we're doing now. So I'm sorry, go ahead. Well, that was the one contention that I had to your point about when you said that, since women always are divorcing men, it seems like they don't really want to be married. I'm saying no, they still yearn for marriage, but they yearn for marriage from a top 20% men. But you got to think about it. Since the beginning of time, 90% of women procreated and only 40% of men procreated. And that's for many reasons. Many reasons we could debate about. Many reasons. Many reasons.
Exactly.
Because niggas was out there taking it. You know what I'm saying?
And
but
men were dying, so that's why.
And men was dying too.
Right.
But that still doesn't dispute the point. The point with OkCupid and Tinder, they've released studies. The dating apps, they released studies that about 90% of women swipe left on men, but 90% of women find 90% of men unattractive.
Correct.
But men find 70 to 80% of women attractive. So I'm just saying, my point is that women just have higher standards. And this is why they initiate the divorces. So I'm sorry, go ahead. Finish your point.
I agree with the Tinder data set, but I don't think we can extrapolate from a dating application, because that's not real life. And there's so many other ways that people meet. I think that just to add on to that.
Well, no, it's the most honest thing. You know why? Is because the reason why it's genuine. and it's honest is because they're just doing it on the phone and not being asked. So they're going by they're going by their hypergamous nature, what they see, what the guy can produce or provide for them. So maybe how he dresses, how he conveys himself in his pictures. So they're looking at all of the, all of these traits in a man based off pictures. So reason why I'm saying it's honest and genuine is because it's an easy left and right swipe without you. Think about it. Women don't like to tell the truth. They like to be politically correct. So even when I do the podcast and I ask women, like, what's your type? Well, I date anybody. Well, your Tinder profile says differently. Your Tinder profile says that you only swipe right on 6'4" black dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, women tend to lie. This is what I'm saying is honest. But go ahead.
Okay. You're going to have to remind me because I want to get back to your hypergamy point. If we know, and excuse the poor analogy, if we know that we think that women desire marriage more, yet they're the ones that are divorcing less, like what we say, like that would be like saying that we know men want muscle cars more to drive to work, but we ultimately see them walking instead. It seems sort of like oxymoronic to make that statement when we know the divorce data. Secondly, we also know, statistically speaking, that men, once they are divorced, they are more likely to remarry more than women, and they're more likely to remarry quicker. So again, I think that still speaks to the desire that men want to get married. And then going back to what you were saying about root cause, I agree with you about root cause. I think that on a 1 to 10 scale, maybe a woman may want marriage on maybe a 7. I would say that on a 1 to 10 scale, that men want sex on a 9 or a 10. The root cause of a man continuing to chase marriage is because he wants sex. And marriage is the easiest access to sex. And that is why I think we continue to see men re-enter marriages. They're more likely to marry twice. They're more likely to marry 3 times. They're more likely to marry quicker, and so forth.
Yeah, I'll grant that.
Okay.
That's agreeable as far as that part. The first part you said, give that analogy again.
Oh, it's silly. I would say it would be when we know that when we think that women want marriage more, but we also know statistically, that women are divorcing at 70% rate. We know they dominate. We know they desire divorce.
Yeah.
And that can be statistically proven. That would be us like saying we sort of think that men during their midlife crisis, they want a muscle car so they can drive it to work.
Well,
but then they get the muscle car and we just see them walking to work instead. That would sort of break apart what we thought we knew.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. Is like, so here's the thing, man. Women are complex creatures. Women don't know women don't know what they want. They have to be told what they want. Women are more agreeable to men, more agreeable than men. So this is why I do this podcast, God over man, man over woman, woman over children. Mm-hmm. We don't really know what our purpose is. We got to get our purpose from God. Women, generally, they don't know what their purpose is. They get their purpose from men. Everything that we created, was for the woman. Think about it. The dishwasher, refrigerators. Niggas don't care if their food is cold. Nigga, I eat it however it is. I eat it room temp. I don't care. Mm-hmm. So, like, most of the things that we created was for us. Of course, it's, the market is asking for it. There's a demand for it, so we're supplying it. It's, in us to try to be the best that we could. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, women, they really don't know what they want. So it's coming upon a man and men to come together, as we've been doing, to tell them what we want. The fact is that we live in a godless society in America, and there's not any direction for women. So women are going to go everywhere they can, right? They're just going to just do a whole bunch of things that don't make sense. It's up to us to give guidance and to make sense for them, because they don't really know what they want to eat all the time. So I would say this: most women, when they go about life, they go with, they have two things that they normally go with. That's hypergamy and that's feelings. Most women in today's society, they go with feelings. They go with the nigga that can rizz them up, right? So they'll keep on bumping their head and making the same mistakes because they prioritize their feelings first. This is why they divorce men, because they prioritize their feelings first. They don't even prioritize their nature first most of the time. Now, there are a subgroup of women that do prioritize their nature. And, we see those women. They may be suppressing their feelings a little bit, and they with a higher tier man, and they living comfortable, and they have a blind eye to maybe what the man is doing.
Well, obviously, I probably disagree with 95% of everything you said, so we can't go through that point per point. But
Sure.
I would say next too, to sort of build off your previous point, when you said that the Tinder study is sort of how women look through things purely because they are hypergamous. My counter, and I think it's a pretty easy counter, and you laughed at me
Sure.
when I said this last time, was that men are the ones that are practicing hypergamy. And there is multitudes of data that confirms it, why the majority of men are marrying up educationally. 50% of men are married to a wife that makes as much or more than them. One of the constructs of hypergamy is marrying up in sexual capital. We all know that women have more sexual capital than men. So an overwhelming amount, I don't know if I would say the majority, but an overwhelming amount of men are checking every box of hypergamy by marrying up.
Oh yeah, like I said, we had that discussion before. Your statistics don't correlate with reality. It just doesn't. Some statistical data doesn't correlate with actual fact and how men tend to operate. So it isn't the reason why. Your reason why you have a statistic, but you're giving it a reason why. I'm telling you the reason why doesn't correlate to the statistic, right?
No, I think the reason why it definitely correlates. I think men obviously want stability. Men want a woman that they can raise kids with, and they want that woman to be a good mother.
This goes back to my point, in which you disagree with everything. Men are more conservative than women. Women are usually more, liberal, right? And you got to think of what's the differences of conserving things, conserving value, and actually being a libertarian, being a liberal, a leftist. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
The difference of it is, well, women, why do you think that song is very famous? Girls just want to have fun. Because girls just want to have fun. They want to kind of just live in la la land and go with the flow of life. And that's what liberals usually want. They want to progress, and let's keep pushing the needle to progress in this, and let's be tolerant of everything. Let's tolerate everything. So let me finish, right?
But we know that men can't be that conservative if
Let me
they
finish.
are. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me finish. I'm just speaking in general. We could get to that point too that you're going to make. I'm saying that women tend to not really know what they want and they need guidance from strong masculine men. That's my point. Men are naturally more conservative. So you saying that, well, women, they really don't want to be married because the data shows that they're always divorcing men. No, they want to be married, but they innately desire quality. Hypergamy, a woman desires quality from one strong, masculine, dominant, assertive man. That's what she wants. The problem is that she can't find it. Also, the problem is the more promiscuous and more she experiences, she can't pair bond with any man. So she's soil for every man. You get what I'm saying?
I hear that.
So you gotta go to the root of things. We could talk about the effects all day. The effects of like, okay, a woman does this, so she's divorcing men there, but let's go to the reason why she's divorcing men. Let's go to the reason why she wants quality. And I'm saying that it all goes back to her biology. And her biology, the thing is this: most dudes are soy boys and they want to go 50-50. They don't have the masculinity to assert themselves to really give a woman what she wants.
But
Not only that, let's peel the
biology?
layer back even further, right? Real quick, to society. Society is different now. Before the 50s, women weren't in a workforce like that. They weren't in a workforce like that. So that means that they were basically, it was easier for them to get their hypergamous nature filled because they wasn't really working. The culture the culture wasn't influencing women to work and to be boss babes and independent. The culture was influencing women to be, a wife and a mother and to have kids and instill good morals and character traits in your kids. That's what the society was influencing women. But now it's influencing women differently. What I'm saying is it's true. Women are more susceptible to outside influences than men. So they're going to always go along to get along. So they're going to do whatever society tends to purport on them. It's up to strong masculine men to conserve the truth. And the truth is God over man, man over woman, woman over children. That's the truth. And we could speak about that. We could actually talk about the root of things instead of going with all the effects of things. But go ahead.
Hold on, taking a note.
Sure. And Shiloh, I got you, bro. Stay tuned. And Jay, I see you in. Jay, man, I see you in here too. I got y'all too. I'm gonna finish up with him in a second. Make it. We gonna do a closing statement soon. But any other points you have? I know you probably taking down some notes. We gonna get to that.
Yes. So just to touch on your last point, you said soy boys are making it more or easier for women, and I think that would then
not easier, harder for feminine men and men that don't have any integrity, decisiveness, a backbone, masculinity, assertiveness, dominance, and has a purpose and a goal for himself to provide for a woman and to give a woman a good future. There's a lack in that. Only the data shows it, bro. Only 20% of all human beings in America make $100,000 a year. And inflation is up too. Like, guys, is lacking.
What percentage of men do you think are the ones that are soy boys or below average that are enabling women to sort of become like these leaders?
Enabling women to what percentage do I think?
What would you guesstimate?
I mean, I really can't give a guesstimate. I could say a statistic is out 30% of men between the ages of 18 and 30 is either a virgin or hasn't had sex in a year, celibate or hasn't had sex in a year. So, I mean, if a man between the ages of 18 and 30, if he's not able to get sex the natural way of courting a woman, he's usually low tier because women are just disqualifying him. So generally speaking, yeah, I really can't give an estimate.
Okay.
Let's just say, for the sake of the argument, so you could make your point, let's just say 60% of men lack true masculine. 60% of men, I would say, not only that, I would say, I would even take it up a step further.
Okay.
I would say 80,
I would say against their nature.
Wait, what'd you say?
So you would say that the majority of men are going against their nature.
Going against their nature? What do you
mean? Their
mean?
nature. Just like
what's
how
their
you say
nature?
Like you're saying, like it's in a man's nature to be the leader, the provider, to be this masculine alpha type of man. But you're saying that 60%, the majority, are obviously not that guy. Is that what you're saying?
No. Okay. I'm not saying that that's in a man's nature. We have free will. So that's not, it's in a man's nature to lead a woman. That's in a man's nature. It's in a man's nature to lead a woman. Yes. It's not in a man's nature. It's not in every man's nature to lead a man, to lead other men. You know what I mean? I have a podcast. I lead other men. I coach men. It's not in every man's nature to be a leader of men. But I would say if a man is in a relationship with a woman, well, it's in his nature, right? Biological nature. He's stronger, taller. Usually he's stronger, taller, faster. May not be as competent right now. He could be a little bit soy boyish in the mind, but still from a physical standpoint and an enforcement mechanism, that man is the leader. But go ahead.
But when you say it's in a man's nature and you make that sort of like appeal to biology and science.
Sure.
When I hear that, I hear like it's in a bird's nature to fly. It's in a fish's nature to swim. And like all of these things can be like scientifically proven. I don't know that there's any kind of like scientific evidence to say like men are supposed to be doing by their nature any of the things that you've named.
I didn't say that though. Once again, I said that it's just in a man's nature to lead a woman.
Perfect.
In
Where
a relationship.
Can I find scientific evidence of that?
I mean, we could look at, I could pull it up here. So men are, they have, 40 to 60% more grip strength They have
That's
40%.
But that's
I'm going
that's
from a physical
testosterone.
standpoint.
That's a physical. Yeah, just because a man can do more push-ups than a woman doesn't mean
Well,
that he's meant to be her leader.
Not only that, men are lower in estrogen. Men are lower in trait neuroticism, so that means that they're less emotional than a woman, and they feel less negative emotions than a woman. So, from a biological standpoint, men are able to generally men are able to regulate their emotions better than a woman, and they're physically more capable than a woman. So that means that man is, nature would say that he's the leader of that woman.
Nature, I've seen studies that come back
So
and say,
why? Here's the reason why. You got to go back to the beginning. Let's not talk about the effects. If you have a man and a woman on an island, Bear Grylls talks about this. They put men on one island, they put women on another island,
Right.
and just off the bat, the men was able to, have clean water, manipulate the world much easier than a woman can, create fires, build shelter. They was doing things in a hierarchy, right? Because men, we know that we'll put the most competent person and the best person in charge. Women kind of operate as a committee in the egalitarian sense, so they look to equalize everything.
But that show was fake, and like the producers had a hand in it. And
No. It wasn't. And also, forget the show. Let's just go back 5,000 years ago in history. History tells us that the man is more capable. The man is the hunter and the gatherer, bro.
Women hunted and gathered.
Women can't hunt and gather to the extent and to the ability that a man can. Is women in the army? Yes, women are in the army, but they can't shoot. They don't have the aim and accuracy like a man. They don't have the physical capabilities like a man.
I agree.
That's what I'm saying.
Those are different claims, though. That's the only thing I would say.
It's not a different claim. It's all about who's more capable of being a leader. A man is more capable of being a leader than a woman is.
But again, I could still go back to every test commonly Googleable is that women regulate their emotions better than men. They score higher on every emotional intelligence test. And that can be demonstrated by the men that can't manage their anger that are in jail.
So, Jordan Peterson talks about it. It's like a 70 to 50%, not 70 to, it's like a 70 to 40 in regards to trait neuroticism. So women are higher in trait neuroticism than men. I don't have the actual figures, but I think women is like 70% of women tend to be, higher in trait neuroticism than, only 40% of men. It's something like that. That's the ratio. Yeah. And that means feeling negative emotions. So if you are feeling negative emotions, you're more likely to act on negative emotions. So that is not even, you don't even have to act. Let's just say that you're able to not regulate your emotions as good because you looking at the glass half empty all the time.
And there's another study that I could link you that was done by Penn Medicine that shows that women have a higher ability they did a scan of 949 brains, that women have a higher ability to communicate between their hemispheres of their brain for analytical and intuitive thinking, where men is just more so for perception and coordinated action. So
okay, well, how would that dispute what I just said?
Because if we're talking about like leadership qualities, thinking analytically and intuitively speaks more so for being a leader than someone.
So this is why you have to read studies out. You could send me that study and I would have to take some time reading it. But I have studies too to back up some of my stuff too that I can send you.
Any of your data. I'd love to see
I could send it all, but we just don't have enough time to be reading studies.
No, I'm saying like if you could start posting it in your videos, I think that would be rad.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'll post it all there so you can see it all. But I have studies that contradicts what that study that you just mentioned said, because men are definitely more logical than women are from like miles. just our chemical makeup. Women bleed each month. They have more estrogen than a man. Like we can speak about it logically of the certain facts that we know. They bleed from themselves each month.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
But speaking logically, but we
there's
have
no
to
way.
But we have to speak logically to why 93% of men make up the prison population. We have to speak logically about addicts.
Yeah, sure. like I told you, man, when you brung that up, I granted that. I said, yeah, most men are in prison. But do you know most of the men that are in prison and that are addicts come from a single mother household?
I don't like the phrasing of single mother.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah,
get it,
buddy.
because
Yeah,
it's a
that's
single
true.
parent. But again, though, it's true. But we have to talk about the father that abandoned that child.
One second. We could talk about it all real quick. And I
Sure.
see y'all in here. I think Shiloh just left, but Jay, I got you. Don't go anywhere. And Antenna, I see you in here too, man. You looking like the Black Goku from Dragon Ball Z. Nigga, I'm Kakarot. Nigga, I'm Kakarot. What you talking about? Let me take out my braids. It's over. I'm the Black Kakarot. Anyways, so when we look at it, in regards to, hold up, someone's trying to come in.
Take your time.
Okay, I see you in here. Give me a second, man. Adrian. So, when we're speaking about the, then I just lost my train of thought.
You're
Coming
gonna
in.
say you're gonna
Go ahead.
dispute my claim about. I say, like, you're saying that men are more logical, and I'm saying, well, if men are more logical,
Yeah.
why do they make up the majority unaliving?
Oh, of prisons. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was talking about single moms. Yeah.
Right.
So when you look at it, influence creates thinking, thinking creates behavior. That's just how it is. We really don't have our true thoughts. Like our thoughts we can add on to our thoughts, but our thoughts was still influenced by something to then have these thoughts, right? And then we have the thoughts and then we act on it. So men that are in prison, a majority of them come from single mother households. So that means that mother, right, who's ever your guardian and you're surrounded by most of the time, plus your environment as well has a lot to do with it as well. But who's ever your parent, it's up to them to instill the right traits into you so you could be a good, virtuous human being and a good member of society, right? So a woman, a single mother household, she leads her sons and daughters astray. She leads them to more degeneracy than a two-parent household and then a single father household. There's statistics on it. I could definitely send you
I
that.
would love to see that because I think
Sure.
that's a bogus claim. I've looked it up and I've read.
There's more juvenile delinquents. They all come from single mother households. All of the school shooters, bro, not all. I think 80% of the school shooters all came from single mother households.
And that statistically tracks because 80% of all single parents are single mothers. So I get that. So I think.
Wait, you said 80? Well, that's what I'm saying. Now you can speak about the father. We could have the discussion on why the father is in a household. Right. We're speaking about emotional regulation. Who can regulate their emotions better? That was the topic.
Correct.
Now, if the mother is raising the kids and the kids are more likely to be degenerates and end up in prison, obviously she can't regulate her emotions because she's putting everything on the kids and the kids is adopted the same thinking and emotional instability that the mother had onto the kid. That's what she's doing. She's just projecting that onto the kid.
I don't think you can. I think it'd be disingenuous to extrapolate the data like that because here's an analogy, and maybe this will be sort of a poor one.
Sure.
Is if Jack and Jill work at a restaurant and they're supposed to be super busy on Saturday, and this is a Friday afternoon, the manager tells them, hey, I need you guys to both be here early, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
And Jack, no calls, no shows on Saturday. So Jill is there waiting all the tables by herself, doing all the work by herself. And there is a dip in customer service. There is a dip in the reviews and so forth. She still gets the job done, but it's not as good as what it would have been if Jack was there.
With both. But
Correct.
now let me use the same analogy. Jack, right? Jill left Jack, and Jack had to do all the work.
No, Jack, no called, no showed.
No, I'm just switching the analogy.
Okay.
Now Jack, because you said Jack no call, no show in my scenario, Jill no call, no show. And the data shows that when Jack is operating that diner or wherever you said, doing things, Jack has the same probability of getting the job done just as good as when Jack and Jill is both together. I'm saying that single father households, it just as good as a two-parent household, but single mother households leads kids to degeneracy. That means it proves my point that they're not more emotional intelligent or can regulate their emotions more than a man can because they put all of their emotions on the kids.
The data is skewed, and see if you can follow me. I'll do my best to explain it to my understanding of it. Did you ever see or hear?
What data is skewed? The data I'm talking about?
Correct.
Okay,
About
sure. Go
how
ahead
a
and
single
explain.
how a single father raises kids that are comparable to a two-parent household.
Okay, well, forget about the data. Let's just have a conversation about it, common sense and logically.
Okay,
Let's see what we can get to.
Common sense would
Sure, go ahead.
say is that we know that out of 100 parents, that only 20 dads are stepping up to the plate to be a single father. So those 20 are the absolute best individuals possible for the job. And now we're comparing them to we're comparing them to the rest of the field. And that would be sort of a disingenuous comparison. Does that make sense?
I mean, I get what you're saying.
Okay.
I'll say this so we can speak about it logically. We all know this. We all was raised maybe with both of our parents, or maybe just the mom, or maybe with just the father.
Sure.
We all have 2 eyes and 2 ears. We can observe how men tend to act and how women tend to act. We all can observe, generally speaking. We all know, just as just an example, when a man is watching kids, he's sitting back. This is how men do it. He got the remote in his hand. Let me get in the camera. He's sitting back chilling. Right? He got the remote in his hand, watching TV. Maybe 3 of the kids running around doing stuff. He like, hey, stop doing that. Put that down. I told you, if I tell you one more time, I'm going to pop you. Put that down. The kid listen or whatever, or the kid don't listen. Oh, okay, that's strike 1. You getting it. Pop, he's gonna go ahead and discipline off the rip. Maybe pop him, maybe put him in a corner. He's gonna do stuff. When a woman, this is generally speaking, women do things, they watching Hollywood Housewives, turning their channel. Okay. Kids is going crazy. Stop it. That's what, put that down. Kids still going crazy. They letting it all build up. Everything building up with the kids. The kids not listening to nothing at all. They letting everything build up. They're not taking the steps, the 1, 2, 3 steps as the man is taking. They're not being super observant and tactical with their approaches, how the man is doing. They're just being emotional. They're letting everything build up, and they'll have an emotional outburst. Generally, I coach these women. They have an emotional outburst. Until they outburst emotionally, I told you to put that down. And they get up, hit the kids, whoop the kids, and do all of this. So not only that, do the woman act out like that, but guess what, buddy? The kids inherently and innately tend to listen and respect the father's word more. You know why? Because it's a biological and innate reaction to adhere and to obey to a man's masculine, deeper voice, to obey to a man's masculine physical structure. That's just humanly there. Me and you, let me tell you something, if me and you is in a room, we already know that there's a possibility of a physical altercation between us if one of us gets out of line. If I get out of line and say something, or if you get out of line and say something, we know that there's it could be a fight. So we're more likely to act cordial. We're more likely to act in peace with one another. When women get together, well, there's not too much physical violence that 2 women can damage. It's not too much physical damage that 2 women can do to one another with their fists. They're going to survive. Me and you is not going to be a survival. Someone's dying. We could kill people with our fist. A woman ain't doing that. They're not capable to that extent to enact the carnage on another human being that a man can. So I'm saying that when we look back at it as kids, right? Kids know to respect daddy because daddy is more physically superior than a woman. So I know that more physically superior than my mom. So I know that I got to kind of, get right with daddy. But with mommy, mommy, she's just emotional. She's littler. I could kind of get away with things. So it's just innately in human beings to act a certain way with men. What I'm saying is this. It's innately in human beings to act a certain way with men and a certain way with women. That's what I'm saying.
There could maybe be some truth to that. But again, for me, if you're ever saying biological or innate and it's like a predisposition to humans, I need to read that in some kind of scientific study somewhere, because I don't think we can just say because of our own previous anecdotes.
I have
that we can-
studies I could send you. I do
Yeah,
have
and
studies
again, I'm not
on.
asking for you to do it now.
I know,
I'm just-
but I have studies on not everything I said. A lot, some of the things I'm saying is my observation,
Right.
and also my opinion based off experience and based off outside of
100%.
my experience as
But
well. But
I
the
respect
data I could actually send you is how kids tend to act to the disciplinarians in a house. Like they view the father as the disciplinarian more than they just view the mother. I do have statistics on that I can send you.
Okay. Yeah. I would love to see that, because what I've seen sometimes is just like we'll mix in opinions and feelings with facts, and I'm trying to sort of decipher and delineate between those two.
Totally fine. But you said that you kind of agree with it. So you understand the common sense in it.
I do, but at the
Got
same
you.
time, then we have to also say, and because you have kids and you have kids that are doing activities, right? Like extracurriculars.
Yeah, Shiloh, I seen you back in here too. Yes, I do, man. Yo, T, hit me up. I told you to hit me up on Instagram.
I don't have
before,
Instagram.
bro. What you got,
email
bro?
You. I'll email you at the no Fugazee.
Email me because you always have good questions, and I like the arguments that you make. So email me. The email is in the description, and so we could set it up, and we'll have a long one, just be me and you.
Cool.
I like where you're going with this. Okay.
All right.
Peace, man.
Be good. Be safe.
You too, man. Be safe.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, chat. Let's get to some more people. I had to let him go, but good guy. He came in before to do a debate. Let's get Shiloh in here because I know you were next, and Jay, you coming next. Shiloh, what's going on? You are live with No Fugazee podcast, man. State your, I mean, your name is Shiloh, but where you from?
From Bahamas.
Bahamas. Nice. What's up, man? Talk to me.
All right, so basically, I want to ask your opinion, right? But first, before I ask my opinion,
Yeah.
ask for your opinion.
Sure.
I didn't know common sense wasn't so common, man. Because a lot of stuff you talk about is stuff that you just hear growing up. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of common sense. What you're saying is kind of. I found you probably like I don't know. You did like a same thing you're doing now with like a light skinned dude who's going back and forth with you.
Okay.
And,
with the fake Drake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the dude that penciled his eyebrows and got a fake headline. Yeah.
Yeah. So I seen that and I was like, bro, it's kind of amazing that like how people think, and I always think to myself like, man, common sense is not so common. But I'm asked the question. So I'm a truck driver, right?
Yeah.
And I want to know, not just for me, but a lot of my homeboys who do trucking.
Yep.
Your opinion about guys having girls over the road.
My opinion on guys, like he's in a relationship, but he's never home. He's out there traveling and doing things.
Yeah,
I mean,
chasing his purpose.
He's chasing his purpose. I mean, I have kids, man, and I think that it's good for a man to be chasing his purpose and providing for his family. I think that it's all about the girl that you choose, because it's the same thing. Like, all right, guys that's in the military, most of those military wives be cheating. That's kind of what you're getting at, right? Like, is it logical? Does it make sense for if I'm like never home, I'm out working, should I have a girl? Then I would say like, well, for those men that's in the military, should they be single in the military and not have a family and kids at home? No, I wouldn't give that advice at all. I think that it's about the person you choose. So you want to choose a woman with a lower body count because you'll have a higher probability for, her not doing any type of degenerate behavior. And not only that, that's what you truly desire and want anyway. And you're only going to, have the intolerance with more options. You're only going to build up intolerance with more options. Or you could build up intolerance by literally believing in having some type of religious backing. you won't tolerate a promiscuous woman. You won't tolerate a woman with a whole lot of tattoos, a woman that been through things. Like, you're just not going to tolerate that because it's like, well, I don't want this woman to be raising my kids. You want a more holier woman. So, nah, man, you're out doing your trucking thing. Keep doing it. I would say you want to stay away from vices and enacting in degenerate behavior. So you doing trucking, you would be trying to smashing the chick in every city. That may not be the best for you. So you know what I mean? It could be fun, but maybe you want to, find a good girl, lock a good girl down, create a family. If you're making 6 figures doing trucking, that's a job that you could then provide for a family. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I have a girl.
Okay. And you do trucking?
Yeah, I do trucking, but
she faithful?
Yeah, because
okay.
I tell you the difference. What I told him, right? I told him that the difference between my girl, and his girl is my girl was there since day one. So when I was like broke and just trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life, right? She holded it down, so like she's seen the progress throughout the time. But he just found this girl while he was doing trucking.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's making all this good money.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, bro, I'm telling him, like, bro, you on your purpose right now, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you should be stressing so much about her, because at the end of the day, if she leaves, you know what I'm saying, you still got what you got.
I understand what you mean. That's different. Like you said that you've already been with your girl before you started doing trucking. This guy, he got with his girl after he was already making that bag, right?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different. The woman can view it differently as well. And it also may be harder to see if the woman has true, genuine intention since he's already making a bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, with my woman, I got with her before I was making the bag.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's a difference.
Yeah, I got with her before I was making the bag. A nigga was struggling out here, man.
Exactly, yeah.
And she stayed committed and, stayed down. And now I'm making the bag. It's like, I know it's all genuine. A chick now, let's say if I was out here wilding, you up to something. You may have some ulterior motives. You maybe, what I mean? What's going on with you? So, yeah, that's good advice to give to that guy. Maybe to tell him, hey, take it a little bit easy. Don't rush into something since you on your purpose right now. But yeah, also it doesn't, we talk about in a red pill space to mitigate risk, but it doesn't hurt to take a chance, but you want to take a logical chance. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to take a stupid chance. Like, oh, this chick, yeah, she used to do OnlyFans, but it's a chance. No, that isn't that isn't good. You want to still source out a good chick and, you could still maybe take a chance. I'm not telling guys to not take any chances. You want to have faith. You know what I mean? You don't want to just live in disbelief all the time and always looking that, thinking that every woman is just out to do dirt on you. That's not a good way to view a woman anyway. But any other questions, man?
Also, so I hear you talk about marriage a lot, right? What I believe in, and I want to hear if you agree with me or not about marriage.
Sure.
So what I told my girl was, hey, we could get married, right? But the government is not involved.
Uh-huh.
Which means if, God forbid, anything happened to us, you take nothing, I take nothing from you, we move on with our life. It's a contract between me and you, not the government, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then once you add the government, then that's when the guy lose half of his stuff, and then you look stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Got you. So you're saying that you talked to your girl and you said like, hey, let's get married in the church.
But no paperwork.
With no paperwork. Yeah. Nothing's wrong with that.
It's a bond between us. So it kind of shows that it's real then, because, paper don't really mean nothing.
Yeah, I mean, you
nowadays.
kind of relinquish all your power and put it into the woman's hand when you sign that paper. In most cases. So yeah, man, no, that's totally fine to get married in the church. That's a good that's a good way to go about things, especially if you're a higher earner. So yeah, nothing is wrong with that at all, man. And even if you're looking at it from a biblical sense, no, there's no contract and paperwork and
Right.
everything. It's
Yeah.
marriage is
Yeah.
between you, your woman, and God.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's okay, man.
Yeah, that's all I
Just
had. Just wanted to get your.
most
Go ahead.
women won't they'll try not to accept that because most modern women nowadays they view marriage as the ceremony. Like they view marriage as the ceremony and a honeymoon. Like they want to go through they want to put on a white dress and you walk down the aisle and just have fun. They view it, fun. Men, we don't view marriage like that. Like when men want to get married, I would say men don't even have a desire to get married. Truthfully, we already when we protecting and providing for a woman and paying bills for a woman and taking care of her, in our minds, we married anyway.
Yeah, that's why.
Like when you look at it, like truthfully,
in
we be like,
reality,
nigga, I'm providing for this chick. Like, nigga, this is mine. Like, I'm already married. Like, nothing don't change a piece of paper or if, we go into a church. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, truthfully, marriage is between you, your wife and God, man. So, but yeah, bro, good questions, man. I appreciate you for supporting the podcast. And also, it's crazy how I'm getting a lot of new supporters from that clip that went viral. I see Marquette reacted to it. MTR reacted to it. A lot of people reacted to it.
I seen them reacted to it. It is funny.
Yeah. But good conversation, man. Have a blessed one. I do these type of podcasts where I have supporters and haters or people with different opinions every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. and we go to around like 11 p.m. So tune on in next Wednesday, and then Friday. Actually, quick update. Well, actually, no, I'll let you go, man. I'll give an update to the chat. But other than that, man, have a blessed one, and
you too, bro.
I'll see you in here again, man.
All right, bro.
So, chat, Friday, we are doing something new. We are doing a blind dating podcast. We already have 4 women booked for the blind date and 4 men booked for the blind date as well. How we are conducting this is that we are having these women come on. They can't see the men, and the woman can't see, and the men can't see them either. The men can't see the woman and the woman can't see the men. I will be sitting in the middle and they will be on both of the opposite couches. We would give the girls letters A, B, C, D, give the men letters A, B, C, D, and then they would have about a 2 to 5 minute conversation between one another. Whoever ends up matches, say if her letter is B, but she picks D. If D don't match with her, that's not a match. Whoever matches at the end, we're going to unveil it and unveil themselves, and they're going to be able to see the person that they match with. Then they're going to have another about 2 to 5 minute conversation, and they get to choose if they want to keep that match or choose another match. But here's the caveat, right? We are going to give baggage. So each woman is going to have to disclose baggage to me. Something, maybe they have kids, maybe they are OnlyFans, some type of baggage, right? And then each man, they're going to have to disclose baggage to me. Maybe they got 3 baby mamas, they on child support, they in debt, all of these things. So I'm going to have the baggage. So once they unveil their blindfold, I'm going to say, and they match, I'm going to say, hey, well, here's Kyle's baggage. Do you want to accept his baggage? If she says yes, it's a match. If he accepts her baggage, it's a match. If it isn't a match, then they get the match with, they have the opportunity to then match with someone else. So it's going to be dope, man. We're doing blind dating podcast this Friday. That's only gonna be about an hour. So it's gonna be some fun content to get you guys involved. Then after that, we switching it into to the podcast where I have the girls on and we talking, just dating and relationships. So stay tuned for this Friday. 4 girls, 4 men. We doing blind dating. It's gonna be lit. All right, Antenna. I see you in here, but I'm gonna bring up Jay first. What's going on, Jay? Turn your camera on, and where you from?
Yo. Can you hear me good?
I can hear you good, man. What's up? Talk to me. You are live with No Fugazee.
So, I know you have the man, the God, man, woman, child. So, do you hold Christian beliefs?
Yeah, man, I believe in Jesus. Yes.
Okay, good. So, what's your view on polygamy? That was my main. I was watching. You did a stream with McQueen and I think another guy the other day, and I think
Yeah.
they had given their view somewhat on it.
Got you. Quick update to the chat. Hey, chat, I see you in here sending a lot of super chats. I'm going to get to all the super chats after the conversation with Jay. And then if you keep on supporting, man, if y'all have questions and stuff, I'm going to get to that too. And actually, I'm going to pause it somewhere, depending on how me and Jay conversation goes. I may pause it to get to some of the super chats. Okay, Jay?
Gotcha.
Okay, so you said polygamy. You seen a conversation when I was in Miami talking with who?
McQueen and I think another guy was on the podcast. Yeah.
Another guy. Okay, and what's your question?
What's your view on polygamy?
I mean, polygyny, which is one man and multiple women, right?
Right.
That's been around since the beginning of time. All the kings and sultans had multiple women. King Solomon had multiple, I think he had up to like 100 wives or something like that.
It was 1,000, a few thousand.
Or 1,000, something like that. And one of the wives, and everything was going fine for him, but then one of the wives, God told him not to choose this one wife, and he chose the wife that God told him not to choose, and that, was the damnation of him. That brought him a lot of damnation and a lot of distress in his life, and was the fall of him. So from a nature standpoint, polygamy is, I could see how it can be okay for society. Also, I could see how it's okay for society if the population is getting too low and you need to, repopulate. You need to have more babies. I could see how that's a thing. I could also see how from the woman's standpoint, since a woman is hypergamous and she wants quality, not every man is a qualified man for a woman. Not every man, is a man of value. So from that standpoint, most women tend to be attracted and want to be locked down by a top tier guy. So, and that's usually they're sharing multiple men. So that's my thought on it. So that's without the morality. That's without morality included. That's a not a secularist view, because there's 1.5 million Islamics, Muslims that believe in a man can have multiple wives. So that's just my view on it. Yeah.
So if you add in morality, and this is the main reason why I asked, because I know you said you have Christian beliefs, and I know most Christians.
I didn't add in morality yet, though. But go ahead.
No, I was saying if we were to add morality, because I know most Christians have a belief, or most people are taught that Christians could have one wife, and if you've ever studied the Bible or went to Bible college, that was never mentioned in the Bible. There was a verse given to Timothy that said the bishop should be the husband of one wife, meaning, and to qualify as a bishop, you had to at least have one wife, right? Then he said to Timothy again, he said the deacon. Then he told Titus, he said that if we were going to have elders, he said that they should also be married. Never in the Bible was it said that a man should have one wife, even though that's what many churches teach. So that's why I asked you.
Got you. Yeah. So in the New Testament, it talks about adultery. You know what I mean? And it talks about a man can commit adultery by even looking at another woman, lustfully, other than his wife. But still within that sentence, I can grant it that it didn't say, he can't have multiple wives.
Exactly.
It just said, don't commit adultery. Like it could be interpreted that, a man could have multiple wives, but outside of your 4 or however many wives you have, you can't look at any other woman with lust.
And that's what I'm saying.
So yeah. Now when I look at it from a moral standpoint, and I think that the Bible is a story, and the story in the Bible, the morality progresses with each story in the Bible, meaning that the morality that God expects man to uphold progresses from Old Testament all the way to New Testament. So when I view it from a moral standpoint, I can understand when Christians say that having an intimate relationship with one woman and having one wife is the closest thing to having a relationship, right? A relationship with God. Now, I'll express it this way. When a man gets with a woman, he's protecting and providing for that woman. He's willing to put his life on the line for a woman, right? The woman submits to the man. The man submits to God. So just that marriage between, it also is a quote in here, I think maybe I'm saying it wrong, but it goes something on the lines of a man should, how God or Jesus loves the church, that's how a man should love his wife. You know what I'm saying? So there's some quotes in there that kind of, that shows the correlation of a man committing to one woman is a holy thing. Like meaning that he's disciplined enough to not be out there sleeping with a lot of women promiscuously, or he's disciplined enough to just commit to one woman how he needs to commit to one God.
Right. So can I counter that real quick?
Yeah, it's not a counter. It's just that those are the perspectives that I've heard and I understand. But sure, you can. I even have counters for it. But yeah, go ahead.
Right. So I have counters. Two counters. So first counter would be it was never stated one that a man could have one wife. Right. That was never stated. Right. But it's taught. Right. Which one of my biggest issues I noticed with most people that are claiming to be Christians is like, we give that prescription. You should. Never in the Bible was given an immoral thing. It was never said to be immoral, right? And people try to say it's adultery, but it's like adultery would be looking at a woman you're not married to. Also, the moralities of the Bible never change per se. Time periods change and laws in different countries change, and people fit their lives to the laws around them. The morals of, you could say, spirituality never exactly change, which is why God never told Solomon or King David or even Peter, who had 2 wives, that it was an immoral thing. And also people say, oh, well, your relationship with God, well, it would be kind of, I'll look at it like this, right? If my son were to tell me, hey, daddy, you can only have one child because this is our intimate relationship. I'm going to look at him like, I can have as many children as I want.
I know, right?
Or he tells his mom that. He tells his mom, Mom, you can only have one child because I want to have an intimate relationship with you, right?
Uh-huh, yeah.
It's kind of like in the modern day, because the Catholic Church pushed the whole monogamy thing, because before that, it was not that big of a thing. But anyways, the wife also, modern day society, could say, hey, husband, you can only have one wife. That's like me telling God, it can only be me and you. No other children. You can't have Cooley as your other child. It's just me and you, God. Mm-hmm. God doesn't have one child or one groom per se. There's billions of people that he can love. Yeah. Just like a man can love multiple women, just like a woman can love multiple children. So I think also when you get into like our country, the more children we have and we teach our values, right? One of the first commandments was be fruitful and multiply. He said that in Genesis. How fruitful can you be if you're planting one seed? You plant one seed. God gave us 8 million sperm and we plant one seed in the ground. It's like, God, I'm being fruitful. God's like, I gave you 8 billion seeds and you plant one? Yep. Is that being fruitful? Just like the story of the steward. You have the steward that took his seed, he hid it. You have the other steward, he took it and made 10 more. So it's even a morality thing. There's not really a morality actual argument that could be actually given by scripture.
I'll tell you the moral argument. But I agree with everything you said, man. Like I said, I truthfully, we're all seeking truth, and we're all seeking. I'm still seeking truth myself. I'm still every day, every day I'm seeking. So this is how I look at it. I agree with everything you said. I don't disagree. I make those same arguments when I'm talking to chicks on a podcast, because I have friends that literally got like 3 wives. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they're Muslim, and I understand. So I look at it this way. So here's a moral argument that I would give, that I have debates with some of my Muslim friends. Right? I'm like, listen. I understand how a man can love multiple women and how a woman can love multiple children. I understand that. I understand that you could be honest and it isn't immoral there. I understand all of that. I do understand this, though. I do understand that something is nature in a man to want. It's not need. It's a want there. Want multiple women. We want multiple women.
Right.
So if we are capable and if we could find some type of reasoning for it, we'll reason our way into anything. Reason kind of leads people astray because you could reason yourself into some nonsense. So when I'm looking at if I would say maybe not higher, maybe I'm using the wrong word, but if I'm looking at not even another level, let's just say another side of it, because I don't want to differentiate it too much by saying what I'm about to say is on a different level. But I can say that men, we innately have a want to have multiple sexual partners, which then it could be that maybe it's not as genuine because we're only going with our nature and our wants, which is not a need, right? So therefore, at some point, our morality has to supersede our nature. And the nature that a man lusts and craves multiple women, like I had the other guy, T, on. He said most men, they get married because they want access to sex, which is true.
Very true.
They don't really get access to sex, so they want access to sex, so they marry multiple women. So that can be that part there. It could be that part there that men, since we want women and we want actual sex to many women, we could marry multiple women because that's what we want, and we could still love multiple women, and we can still take care of multiple women. But at some point, our morality does have to supersede this wanting nature that we have. And if it supersedes, it would be not a restricting, but having discipline to go outside of our wants, having discipline to say, hey, I'm going to lock down with one woman, right? I'm going to lock down with one woman, even though I have these innate desires for other women and I can love them all the same and take care of them all the same. But I'm going to be so disciplined. You get what I'm saying? I think that's another side of it for the moral aspect that Christians would argue as well. It's like, well, Christians argue this. Well, you can't be that moral if you always want to enact on your nature. Your morality has to supersede your nature at some point. So I understand that argument. So that's the only thing that I would say. And I tell my Muslim friends, maybe, look at that. But hey, as far as I'm concerned, that's the only argument as far as morality. But other than that, I would say that, but in that argument of morality only coincides with discipline. It's like, okay, well, are you not as disciplined? That's why you having multiple wives? And then you can argue, well, that's the reason why he got multiple wives, because he is disciplined, because multiple women want him.
Right.
So so many things that you can argue that is like, dang. So I feel what you're saying, man.
I'll
go ahead.
Three things there. So one, let's go on the premises that they are lustful, right? So I think Paul he said, if the man burn, let him marry, for he burns, etc. Right? So you could argue that the burning was because, and to be objectively true, if men did not have the desire to have sexual access, would we marry in the first place?
If men didn't have a desire to have sexual access,
yes,
would we marry in the first place?
Do you think most men would deal with women without sex?
Well, okay, that's two different questions. Without sex and having the desire for multiple sexual partners is different.
No.
What you saying?
Okay, so like without that burning for that need or that craving of, I need to,
multiple sexual partners.
Just that burning, because like I don't even think it's that they want multiple. I just think that burning is like, she can only give me so much, and some men that burning is like continues, right? So I'm not even arguing whether it's
okay. So wait, state your question again? I know what you're saying now.
Okay, yeah. So I'm saying if men did not have that deep desire, right? Men want to have more sexual access than even women. Like our sexuality is way higher, right?
Yep.
So do you think if that was not there, that men would even deal with women? Like without that lust, would we even deal with them?
Men would still deal with women because, you got to say without. You're saying without that lust, without any lust,
without lust in general.
Without lust in general, I mean, no, and I mean, well, yes, we would still deal with women because we want to procreate and we want to leave a legacy behind. So I would say, generally speaking, men are usually in competition with other men, and it's a natural tendency to procreate. It's just we have a natural propensity. It's in our nature to procreate, and we have a natural tendency to compete with other men. So of course we want to leave our legacy behind. So even if we didn't have any type of lustful desire, we still would want to make a copy of ourselves and leave a legacy. But I would say that without that lustful desire, we wouldn't be having as many kids. We'll just be like, I'll just have one.
Because
nowhere near as many.
Most of the kids that are given us because men are so undisciplined. They have that
undisciplined.
Which what drives, because most men are not sitting around, I would like to have 2 kids today. Most men are not doing that. You can maybe argue there's 10% of men maybe that are sitting around thinking like, I want to have kids. Most men are not. They end up having a kid because, she was fine. She was big.
I see where you're going with this. And I want to say that when it comes to like the lust and everything like that, you're saying you're pretty much going to where like that's nature within us to be lustful. So we it isn't, you're pretty much trying to say that, correct me if I'm wrong, it isn't immoral to enact on our lust, because without our lust we wouldn't be able to really procreate the world.
Which was even given in the Bible when he said, because you burned that we should marry. This was the purpose of marriage.
So here's what I say with all type of nature, with all type of tendencies, with all type of natural tendencies, we need to have them under control and not be ruled by our natural tendencies. So that means that it's not good for a man to have any vices. Like I don't smoke, drink, or cuss. I don't do those things because I want to have a strong mind. If I don't have a strong mind, I probably won't be doing a podcast. I'll be in a boxing ring just fighting all day. Course. Win or lose, scrapping, because win or lose, I'm scrapping because that's just in me. That's who I am. But I have to control my mind, so I can't do certain things or I'll go crazy. Possibly, who knows? Okay. But with me just using my own example, if I indulge into my nature, my carnage, right, my carnal nature, it will lead me astray. It will lead me to hedonism, right? So to not be a hedonist, well, you have to find a good balance. And I think that all men need to have a good balance. I think that Islam, they see that and they're like, 4 max, bro. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like they're trying to find that balance. So
Yeah. And I was making that first argument to show that the lust in itself is not immoral, right? But my second
acting on the lust from an improper, sinful way, that is immoral.
To an extent.
Because you got to think about it. Lying to a woman to get sex is immoral.
I'm not saying lying.
Well, you got to think about it. Most men don't even have the ability to get sex unless they're doing it in an immoral way. Let's just be truthful, bro. Like most men, they don't have the ability to court a woman properly without lying, without trying to be someone who they're not, without being, Fugazee. You know what I'm saying? Like most men can't be no Fugazee and still get a woman to submit and to be like, oh, okay, you got multiple chicks. Yeah, I'm with that. Or, okay, you doing this? Yeah, cool. I'm with that. Most guys got to lie. Yeah, I don't got a girl. Or, yeah, I'm doing this. Or, yeah, I got a boat. Or, yeah, I drive a BMW. Meanwhile, they got a Honda Civic. Most guys got to lie. Or they like sell a dream. Yeah, baby, you the only one. There ain't no other chicks. Meanwhile, where they know they have intentions for other girls. So from a general standpoint, most men can't even maneuver most men can't make a move in an honest way to a woman to get cheeks. They gotta lie. So with that just means that it's like, that proves my point where it's like, you have to have control over these natural tendencies that you have and still do things in a non-sinful way. But sure, what else you got?
And so let's go on the opposite. Let's say on a logical standpoint, right?
Yeah.
Logically, let's say you specifically, right? I'm gonna ask you this on a logical standpoint. Yeah. Let's say you're a well-off man, you're doing good for yourself, you're a teacher, you're willing to, I want to be a teacher. The same way a woman can have multiple children and is actually pretty profitable that she teaches her children herself versus sending them to the public school system. A man could also, let me have 4 wives. And not on a lustful standpoint, but from a logical standpoint, if you think about you're trying to build a kingdom, the best way to build a kingdom is to have multiple women, right? And to allocate allocate different, duties for each woman. One teaches the kids, one cooks, one does the cleaning, one does. It's also, you can come at it from a logical state, which is what the Muslims do, without it being lustful. Because people try to argue the lustful side. I get the lustful side. You could argue against that, but on the non-lustful side, for the men that are well off, who are not procreating, most men that are high status or higher earning are not procreating, which is the bigger issue. Because these are the men that are more intelligent, but they're not having as many kids. It tends to be the poor having kids. So it's like, okay, the men that are more well off, like Solomon, David, many of the kings, why not have multiple, even Christian men? Because I think, and my argument is that Christians have this belief, but it's not biblical, right? We can logically argue it to, back and forth, but it's not biblical. Many preachers teach it, but it's like, it's not something that you can teach. That's your personal viewpoint, right?
Many preachers teach it is because they don't want men and women to go down a hedonistic path. So that's why they teach it. It's like, it's better to tell you, hey, have some self-control over these urges that you have than to not have self-control over the urges. So when they're preaching and giving these, they're preaching, I don't do that. I mean, I say, listen, bro, if you are being honest with a woman, we haven't disagreed on anything yet. I'm just giving you different arguments that, maybe Muslims would have or Christians would have. Truly, like I said, if you watch the podcast, I think that polygamy, a man having multiple wives, I don't see it as anything, I don't see it sinful. As long as he's honest, the woman agrees to it, and he's taking care of all of those women, I could see it as, okay, he's being a stand-up man. That is okay. From the other point of it, though, I could still see it as it's like another. Would I do it? No. That's what I would say. So would I actually go down that path and live that way? No, I wouldn't choose that option to marry multiple women. I wouldn't choose that path. But yeah, man. But would I tell someone else not to do it? No, because there's 1.5 billion people already doing it, and it's been done since the beginning of time. And generally, it's if they're doing it right and not in a sinful way. I mean, nowhere in the Bible it really says, well, at least in the Old Testament, it doesn't say anything about it. New Testament we could argue those are the arguments that I already gave you.
There's 3 verses that talks about having one wife, and those were specifically that the bishop should have one wife, not that he could only have one wife. I've read my Bible multiple times, and
yes, me too, man. So even with the should, even with the shoulds that he should have only one wife, or only, even with that, we almost kind of play semantics. Is like, all right, well, let's look at the Hebrew scriptures or the Aramaic scriptures and see what it actually said. Yes. You know what I mean?
And then in Hebrew it says that he should be married. Is what in Hebrew the basic was he should be married. So
all I know is
he had to be married.
Yeah, all I know is that it isn't like a direct no. That's all I know. It isn't a direct no. So we kind of have to.
At all. It was saying in order to be a bishop, you have to be married. It wasn't so. It says he should be the husband of one wife in English, but when you look at the Hebrew, it's saying
it's just saying in order to be a bishop, he has to be married. I know that, but then I could pull up other scriptures as well where it contradicts certain things. Like I said, like don't commit adultery. Don't look at another woman with any lustful eyes. So let's just extrapolate that real quick before I get to the next person. Yeah. Don't look at another woman with lustful eyes. So if you marry one chick, nigga, you're looking at another woman. If you want to get another wife, you looking at her with lustful eyes. So like, you know what I'm saying? You in the back, you are looking at another woman with lustful eyes. It is what it is. Like if say you court one girl, you marry that girl, that's your wife. Boom. Now you looking for another one. You mean to tell me why you're not courting this girl? Yeah, you could have all the genuine intentions ever. But still, it's like, okay, sex will be happening if, things go right. So it is still lustful. Men tend to just naturally fall in love with their eyes, right? But if you don't even have the the desire for another wife, then you're more likely, if you got one wife and you don't have a desire for another wife, and that's not what you want, and it's not in your belief system, you're more likely to try to restrict yourself from looking at a woman with lustful eyes. Then if you're getting multiple women and you know you can have multiple wives, you're more likely to not restrict yourself to look at a woman with lustful eyes. So we can argue that point where it's like, well, yeah, like this is what I'm trying to say. I have these conversations, bro, with Christians too, where I use your points and I argue them, because it's like, it's hard, bro, when you got, Muslims, and it's since the beginning of time, you got the Old Testament saying these things, only into the New Testament. Jewish people don't even believe in the New Testament. You got all these things. So these are good conversations. And Jay, I'll have you back on because I like where your mindset is, man. How'd you find the podcast?
I was watching for a good little bit. I think I don't even remember. I think I was on Facebook. I think I seen on Facebook.
Okay, word. Yo, man, I appreciate the support, man. I'm going to let you go on. I'm going to get to someone else in the chat. And once again, we do these on Wednesdays, every Wednesday around 7 p.m. and we go into around 11 p.m. Have a good one, bro. All right. Antenna, man, I see you still in here. I'm going to bring you up in a little bit. Nigga, I am the real Kakarot, bro. This it is what it is. We got Adrian, Heedy, and actually, let me get to the super chats before I bring you up, Adrian. And then I see we got Stadium Tactics, So we got another person here too. I'm gonna get you up. Let's get to these super chats real quick. Okay. All right. Dang, man, chatting here, definitely supporting, man. I appreciate the support. We have Red Pill Goku sends in $5. Antenna, show us your nightstand. Where's the stiff socks, bud? We got Louis Burrito sends in $5. It's not insecure. It's logically sound. God over man, man over woman, woman over children. Facts. We have Louis Burrito again sends in $5. Did you pay Antenna to come on and make a fool of himself? This guy is a clown. Yeah, Antenna, I'm gonna bring you back on. Chat, I told you, man, they roasting you, bro. We have I see you, my farts. That's crazy. Sends in $2 from another country. Says, much love from this 6'8" white Viking from Norway. Yo, appreciate your support, man. If you 6'8", play ball, bro. If you're young enough, you should be playing some ball, bro. We have, don't just be like in a cubicle. Yeah, like one of those nerds, you 6'8", mad big in a cubicle. We have the real June dog sends in $5. He says, does he even have a girlfriend to be speaking about insecurity? Okay, that's when you're talking about Antenna. Antenna, I'm bringing you up shortly, bro. Don't go nowhere. We have Moreno. I see you just hopped in here too. We got Track sends in $10. Yes, if you look at a woman and men and three processing power, if you look at a woman and man and their processing power and advantage leans towards women, however, with the hormonal changes and mood changes of women tends to negate their advantage. That is facts. That's when I was having that debate with T. He said that women are more capable of being able to regulate their emotions than a man can. T doesn't understand that men and women tend to show their emotions differently. So we view a man not being able to handle his emotions good because those men end up in prison. Women, they don't handle their emotions either, but they just take actions differently. They use it with character destruction, innuendo, and gossip. And that's all women do is gossip and try to destroy a man's character with the whole Me Too movement and everything else. So women are very emotional. Actually, women tend to off themselves more than men, statistics shows. So women attempt often themselves more than men, but they're just unsuccessful at it because the way that they take to off themselves is just not as an aggressive approach as men. Men is like, all right, boom, chick, chick, blammy. We off with it. Click, click. Ah, you off with it. Women, they like to scratch themselves, cut themselves. They're attempting it. They take pills. They're attempting it, but it just doesn't, they don't really, it doesn't land. We got, let's see here. We got the Black Muslim sends in $5. Dude just wants to disagree. The comparison is house to house. The houses ran by fathers are successful, by women not. And the difference is discipline. That's a fact. Yeah, T, and it's not that T just wants to argue. There's different people. T is an older man. He's a little bit differently than Antenna, which is a little younger. And Antenna, he tends to watch certain things and get his points like is claims and alt claims. And you're going to understand it a little bit more when I let you back in, Antenna. But T, he makes these points because T, he actually wants a partnership. In the last live stream I had him on, he said that, no, I don't want a marriage. He wants a partnership. So he kind of views things in a more egalitarian sense. And that could be for a multitude of other reasons that, you know, the next time I have him on, I'll debate him. I'll debate him on. We got Mike sends in $5. You are good, dude. God bless you. Appreciate that, Mike. We got Loney Anderson sends in $10. Love your content, bro. Great audience for all. We got Trax sends $5. Having multiple women are for men who can afford it, not for the average guy. Remember, kings and leaders had many because they had the resources. That's a fact. That's exactly what I said. And that's exactly how, Islam works. You can't have multiple women if you can't provide for all of them the same and equally. Like, we know you can love them all, but can you truly provide for them all equally? If you can't do that, you can't have multiple women. So in order to have multiple women, and even for multiple women to submit to you, you got to be a top tier guy, bro. You got to be in the top, 1, maybe even 10%, or sometimes even less than that. So yeah, because women just ain't submitting to nobody. Any other super chats, man? Send them in. Let's go ahead and add Adrian. All right. Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast. Where you from?
I'm from Las Vegas, living in California at the moment, brother.
That's dope, man. I was just in Vegas about 2 months ago. I did a podcast with Saint in the Center, Marquette, and Rolo Tomasi on Access Vegas. Talk to me. What you got?
Just wanted to say I love the podcast, man. A lot of stuff you talk about, I agree with. Just wanted to come at you with a question, not really like a debate, but just kind of want to see where your head is. Because I remember you saying, if I'm not mistaken, you claimed that you don't believe that Jesus is God. So I just wanted to check in with you on that and just kind of like, I want to know why you believe that, if you could elaborate that to me, brother. Yeah,
I never said that. I do believe that Jesus is God. So I believe that God, the Spirit of God is in the flesh of Jesus. So the Spirit of God is moving within Jesus. So therefore, Jesus is God. We are all spiritual beings. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I don't believe that Jesus isn't God. I believe that they are one and the same. I don't believe in the Trinity. The Trinity talks about 3 different personalities. So it talks about the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. These are all 3 different personalities. I don't believe in that because I received the Spirit of God myself. And I could tell you I was fully conscious and my spirit was still within me, but God's Spirit came within me too. So if I'm looking at Jesus, I would say that Jesus was in a fleshful form, but his spirit, it wasn't of a man. It was all God's spirit.
Okay, so to follow you, you're saying that you believe that when Jesus walked the earth, he didn't walk as a man in spirit?
I believe that he walked as a man in a fleshful form, but he did not walk as a man in spirit.
That he carried the Spirit of God. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense for sure. I don't know why I thought that. I was watching you like a week or 2 ago, and it was because you specifically said you didn't believe in the Trinity. So I took that.
Yeah, I got.
hey, Jesus is just Jesus and God is God. But
Yeah,
no,
nah.
I can understand that,
The
brother.
Trinity is skewed because when you believe in three different if you can believe in three different personalities in one, then you are able to believe that a man can be a woman. Truthfully, then you're able to believe in transgenderism and stuff like that. Like it's a passage in the Bible where it says like I think God, I don't remember the scripture, but God pretty much said that like there or I think it was like the devil or something said we are many. We are many in one, right? So
Yeah.
that's like that's demonic. You know, we are many in one. We're more than one thing. It's many of us in one. So that's demonic. So if we're going to try to say that God is three in one, that he's on the line of, you know, that type of entity or personality, let's say. It just doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense too is because personally I've received the Holy Ghost. So from my own experience, and my experience was much differently from any other person. I told this story before. I get into more detail. I'll do a whole podcast on it. But most people speak in tongues. So they just feel the Spirit of the Lord is moving through them with their mouth. Not mine. Mine was the physical. God controlled my whole body. I personally felt inside my body strong. Like Hercules, like Goku from Dragon Ball Z. And it was different where I was fully conscious and aware of what was going on. It wasn't like a hallucination, but the Spirit of the Lord was then moving through me. So then that gives me proof from my own experience that, wait, God can't be multiple different personalities. And also Jesus can't be a man because I wouldn't even be able to act and operate how the Spirit of the Lord was operating me when we both at the same time. It wouldn't work like that because it was so strong and so powerful. It was like God was fully taking over my body and my voice. So I don't have any, it's not a partnership. God is superior, God over man, man over woman. So when God is coming in, he's taking over. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that Jesus is the only physical body that experienced all of the Spirit of God without any spirit of a natural man.
Yeah. I mean, because we have a flesh, a spirit, and a soul. So it's not just spirit and flesh, it's flesh, spirit, and soul.
I would say that soul, that's the other thing too. We try to do too much when it's like flesh, spirit, and soul. Can you differentiate the difference of spirit and soul?
So what I would say, because in my belief, I believe that animals could have spirit, because spirit is just an embodiment of another dimension. So I would say that, but the soul.
How about we use another word? I got you. How about we use consciousness?
Yeah, that makes sense. So like your spirit is like, because like people can have different spirit. Like you can be holding a spirit of disbelief, or you could be holding different spirits at different times, or say I would alcohol, you're taking on spirits that, you know what I'm saying? So, but I feel like
I wouldn't say spirit. I would use a different word. I would say influence. We can take off different. We could be ruled by an influence or a vice, because influence creates thinking. Thinking creates behavior. You got to think about it. Adam and Eve. Eve was influenced by the serpent, which is an outside source that influenced her. Yes. It couldn't influence Adam. He was impenetrable. But what could influence Adam? Adam was influenced by Eve. Adam was influenced by the woman. That's why men have to be careful of the women they, keep around. And that's why women have to be careful of outside influences. Because influence is the most powerful force besides free will. But I would say free will is a hover. Because even if you're and free will only comes in when it's choice to be made. So you're influenced, you got thinking, and then you have a choice to be made. You got free will to make a choice.
Yeah. So you're saying that Jesus, he walked in the full Spirit of God, which
that's what I would say. Yeah.
When he was tempted, he was tempted in the flesh. So he still had to make that choice though, right? He still had to make that conscious choice to not sin. When the devil tempted him with all the things of the world, or whatever temptation he went through in his life.
Yeah, he's still. You got to think about it. The spirit is still inside a body that has desires, that has tendencies, that has motives. He's still experiencing all the things that we're experiencing. He experienced all the pain, everything that we experienced, the love, the sadness. But the spirit was God's spirit inside of a physical man's body. So since it's in the body, he's still going to experience those desires. Jesus didn't act on it, right? He didn't act on his desires. So that's why within the scriptures it says, try to be like Jesus. We're going to be pushed to have, we're going to be, influenced to be pushed to have certain desires and walk down certain paths. But, make a right choice. If you are a man and you're attracted to another man, you're not gay until you make that, until you act on that. You're not gay until you act on that. So you got to think about it. You have this innate desire to be attracted to another man, which is gay. Which is, it's you can say it's gay to have that desire. But guess what? If you don't act on it, you're not gay. And guess what? No one even knows that you even have this tendency and that desire. So you can suppress it. Not only suppress it, you can overcome it.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. So
for sure, brother. For sure.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, and like I definitely I get where you're coming from with the Trinity thing, because I mean I don't think the word Trinity is even in the Bible, and
it isn't.
People they like to use concepts to try to explain stuff in the Bible, and I feel you, like
they try to use concepts to make it make sense.
Yeah,
like I said, human beings would try to reason their way to anything.
Yeah,
they'll try to reason. That's why you don't follow man. Like think about it. We have to be subordinate in order for us to succeed to succeed or to gather as a society. We must be subordinate to logic and reason. That means that we must use logic and we must reason with one another to, sell trades and to, complement one another as between man and woman. We must, just reason with one another. Reason can lead you astray, though. Logic is good, but it's like, okay, well, if we are subordinate to logic and reason, then are we making logic and reason our God? No.
That's
we
why
have to make
the truth.
God. Yeah, we have to make, because logic and reason must be subordinate to something.
To the truth.
To the truth. And that's God. That's God. So we must be subordinate to God. We got to follow logic and reason just to communicate with one another and to have peace and to get along in society and to not be an idiot. Like I have guys on here believing that 1 + 1 = 1. Guys on here believing that the woman is the God. They're not even subordinate to logic and reason. That's why they're not going to get anywhere in life. So for us to succeed in life, we must be subordinate to that. But for us to elevate to a higher purpose, we got to be subordinate to the thing that logic and reason is subordinate to, and that's God.
Of course. Yeah, 100%.
Yep. Anything else, man?
Nah, man, just like I said, when I seen that, I was like, I was agreeing with everything, and I was like, man, he's saying that. But now that you explained it out of your mouth, and I like how you do that. Like you're going off of the truth. You're not getting caught up in what these people are saying, and you look at it through your own lens, and that's how I am. I just like search for the truth. So I appreciate you having me on, brother, and I can get on another time. We can have another conversation, man.
For sure, man. We'll definitely do it again. I do these every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Normally go to around 11 p.m. So thank you for tuning in and supporting, man. If you're not a member, maybe join a membership. We out of the merch. So if you do like the merch, that's going to be, the link is going to be back up in about a week. We're going to have some more in stock. And support the podcast, man. It helps it grow. I don't need the bread. I'm financially fine. But if you want to see this grow, don't hurt the support. Other than that, bro, have a blessed one. I appreciate you, man.
Blessed. Thanks you, brother.
Blessed one. All right. We got, let's see here. All right. So we're going to wind down a little bit soon. Antenna, he backed out. I see a couple people in here, though. 1 second. Let's go to the super chats real quick. Let's go ahead and play. I do got to do a let's go ahead and play this. I got Stadium in here and I got Moreno. I'm going to add you up in a second. Let's go ahead and just play this ad real quick. I'm going to go ahead and play the ad we have for today, and then we're going to get back in regular scheduled programming. So let me go ahead and bring this up. And gotcha. Stay tuned for this ad. We'll be right back after that.
Are you tired of being overcharged and forced into paying a monthly subscription for your Mac and Windows software? Well, if you are, currently we're having a 50% off discount on all the latest Mac and Windows software, such as AutoCAD, SolidWorks, Photoshop, Microsoft Office, and much more. Our 50% off discount will be ending soon, so be sure to text us, ready to buy, to the number on the screen. Starting pricing for low-end software, $100, and starting pricing for high-end software, $500. We aim to please, so expect 24/7 technical support, the latest premium software, instant software links delivered to your email, and PayPal buyer's protection guarantee.
All right, that is our ad for today. Let's go ahead and bring on Stadium. Throw in your camera for me and state your name and where you're from. Yo, throw your camera on and state your name and where you're from. Can't hear you, buddy. Get that fixed, and I'm going to go ahead and add. I think I can hear you now. Still can't see you, though. Go ahead and get that fixed, and I'll bring up the next caller. Yo, what's going on, man? State your name and where you're from.
Moreno. I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, what's going on, man? Talk to me.
Nah, I just wanted to tell you, like, yo, your podcast is fire, bro. And you be talking some real shit on here, for real.
Yo.
Like, I wish, like, a lot of people, like, listen to your podcast because the way these dudes, like, these days is out here, it's not good, bro. Not these days. It's no good, bro. I swear to God. But, yo, for real, I hope your shit grow. Part of my language.
You good, man.
I hope it grow and, like, thank you.
Yo, I appreciate the support. Appreciate the kind words, and continues to support, man. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah. Shout out to Brooklyn.
Word.
All right, let's try this again. Yo, you are live with No Fugazee Podcast. I think I see you in the cam. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm on the road.
Got you, man. What's up, buddy? What's your name and where you from? I can hear you.
I'm Els the engineer. I was on a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah, what's going on, man? I remember you, man.
Not much. I think there is a lag. I don't know from whose end exactly. I am on the road though.
I don't hear any lag on your end. It could be a lag maybe with your audio, but from what I'm hearing, you're fine.
Okay. Yeah, I ain't really had much disagreement. I came. I guess his name is Antenna. He came in. I wasn't really quite sure what the topic was and everything, but as I continue to stay tuned in, the brother that was talking about the polygamy, both you guys are actually right. It's just really, it's a order to whichever you guys preference. So just like you said, if you desire like to just have just one wife, then yeah, this is what's going to keep you disciplined. But if you want to have more than one wife, the way how you explain it, according to the Hebraic customs, of which I do believe that most of us are from, you do, as a man, you do have to have your, as we say it today, your finances. You do have to have your business and everything together. You can't
Yeah,
be out here just be like bumming around. And you just look at guys like the Abrahams. I don't think Isaac had more than one wife, but you look at Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, not Isaac again, but Jacob, David, Solomon. A lot of them, if you look at themselves like as who they weren't bum men. They were men of stature, men of purpose,
for
and
sure. Yep.
that's what comes down to it. And a lot of nowadays, when we think of polygamy, is we think of it in a wrong sense, as in let me have like 2, 3 women all in one bed. Like no, that wasn't the case. Like you said, it was about reproducing. So
Yep.
the woman
Leaving a legacy.
back then, they had their own homes.
Yeah, no, that's right, man. When I was speaking to him, we didn't really have any disagreements. We kind of just gave our perspectives on it. I mean, I guess he kind of disagreed with that it's not in the Bible, and I was arguing certain points that it's in there. It could be things could be interpreted differently because God never said no. But if we look at it logically, it's like, well, maybe he did say no. You know what I mean?
Hello, I
And
think my
also when I looked at
phone
it,
call came through and dropped me out.
okay, can you hear me? Yo. No, I still can't hear me. When you get that fixed, man, just stay in the queue. I'm going to go ahead and talk to the audience. So, chat, we live right now, No Fugazi Podcast, man. We're going to go ahead and settle down. Got a lot of people in here supporting the show. Let's see if we got any other super chats. No other super chats, man. So, once again, this podcast was very No Fugazi. We had, I think I did maybe 4 debates. Next podcast is going to be this Friday. We are doing a blind dating podcast that I announced already. It's going to be dope. We got the 4 girls lined up, the 4 men lined up. And then after that, we're going to do the regular dating and relationship type podcast. So blind dating for an hour of the podcast. And then the next hour or 2 hours of the podcast is going to be me talking to the girls. Going to have the guys off, but me, getting the girls' perspective and challenging them on the mates that they chose and everything else. But other than that, man, this podcast was No Fugazi. I appreciate everyone that's been supporting. If you aren't subscribed, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and click that like notification bell so you're notified. And click the like and also so it gets into the algorithm, but also click the bell icon so you're notified of when we go live next. Man, currently right now, as far as I would say red pill type dating podcasts, man, we got to be in at least the top 4, top 5 if you're looking at it. So the podcast growing, we about to reach 200K. It hasn't even been 2 years. So we doing big things, man. Keep supporting the podcast and helping it grow. But other than that, this podcast was No Fugazi. We out. Tune into this Friday, man.